Welcome to the debut episode of the League of Kyle's Rivals Not Stupid podcast. I'm your host, Mike. And, because you've never seen us before, I have to introduce everybody properly. Your host, Mike. Also here, technically nobody here has ever missed an episode, but joining me as always, it's Alex.
I do have a complaint about this introduction as well. Weren't we rebranded to just the Not Stupid podcast?
That's a fact. True. We'll leave it in. Welcome, everybody. Episode 1 of the Not Stupid podcast.
Mike Kane live from Canada. Me live from the United States.
Wait a minute.
Oh, we have another guy live from somewhere else. Look at that flag behind him.
Yeah, look at that flag, dude.
It's Denny.
Live from Ireland.
Yes. Also joining us, it's Dennis.
It's good to be here. I would say back, but it's good to be here back.
And also here when we have our technology in order, the man who will host us on Twitch in the future, if you want live streams from us, it's Tom.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom. I'm here, the live stream guy, and so I know a little bit about fantasy football. So let's talk about it, guys.
Yeah.
So if you're new to this show, we have a dynasty league and we had our rookie draft. So we can start from there. There's 4 rounds, 12 teams. You can do the math. 48 picks.
All right, Chris Farley show. All right, let me take over here. All right, so rookie draft in the books. It took a little longer, but did it because we started really early because we just said fuck it. Like
I think it took longer last year.
Did it? I thought we finished that day of.
No, we definitely went to bed like.
No, it definitely took more than a day, but I think it took maybe just like a full day. But I think we started it later on.
Maybe we got more of the early rounds done last time.
So. I think we did because I'm like forgetting we had like the 24-hour pause essentially.
Yeah, I remember I made both of my first round picks this year and last year in a parking lot. I just remember being like, "Oh well, here we go." I just get the phone. So I mean,
Phil was on the way to the hospital when he made his first round picks. So
that's dedication, man.
No excuses. There's just no excuses. Fantasy is a lie.
So see, that was probably his thing. He had to make
this for 11 out of 12 of us.
He had to make 2 first round picks on the way to hospital. So this year he just said, "Fuck it, I don't want any picks, just in case."
Yeah.
Listen, it's like a bad omen. He doesn't want to chance it, so he's like, you know what?
Look, man, I know you're going to the hospital, but could you
Yeah, you only got 23 hours left for your pick, dude.
Guys, I had to have my appendix out, bro. Listen, before they do the anesthesia, don't you dare.
Do you even want to be in this league?
A commitment. But all right, I guess we'll start it at the top here, just like we always do. Listen, 101. I mean, no surprise there, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, what is there really to discuss?
But does he love football?
That's the thing too. He also wears weird 3/4 length trousers for his pants.
Just ask his dad how his nuts are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little much there, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't really have much to say there. I mean, it's been talked about to death. I mean, little doubt with Trey Sermon potentially being the 101, but
I heard some rumors.
A lot of rumors.
He fell in the first round, which is shocking to say the least, especially in a super flex league. But anyway, but no, I mean, I got nothing to say about that. So
I mean, look, the Trevor Lawrence pick, in all honesty, was pretty much locked in since the Super Bowl was over. That was
he would have made the pick months ago.
He would have made the pick months ago. That was the only pick he wasn't even listening to trade offers for. That was locked.
I mean, why would you in a super flex league? Like, why would you?
I mean,
I agree.
There is an argument that you could have listened to trade offers, but just because the amount you would get to trade out of the first pick and then still take someone like Justin Fields a couple picks later,
Right. But did anybody really have the draft capital for that? Because I feel like that was like a. I mean, like
it would have had to been a couple of years.
It would have been players. Just someone would have been trading like high-profile players to get up.
I mean, if I was Anthony and I hypothetically would have been like, "Oh, I want that," I would have been like, whatever dog got for Tua, like double that. Like that's what I'm.
I mean,
for.
When maybe we talk about Lucho's team, I know Lucho needed a quarterback. Does he offer Jonathan Taylor and a first-round pick? Would you take that? Jonathan Taylor, the running back
Lawrence
two in
is-
Dynasty.
Trevor Lawrence is Superflex League, probably not, depending on the.
No, I mean, look, if everything goes
I think I
according to
would.
plan with Lawrence, he's a quarterback for almost 20 years. You know, Jonathan Taylor on his best day obviously can't. That's impossible for a running back unless you're a fucking Frank Gore.
Miss you. I just assume he's dead by the time this podcast comes out. I don't know if he is or not.
Nope, still playing, dude.
I assume, but yeah, like I said, I don't think there's any doubt there. There's not like too much to discuss. So, with me next, I went Najee Harris, and that was
So I don't want to cut you off. Do we want to do draft grades per pick, and then we'll do the overall at the end?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, guys, I took the liberty.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Actually,
For everyone watching at home in the future, I took a liberty to do a draft grade from A plus to F on every single player, and then at the end, I have a draft grade for every team. I will then share that draft grade after we're all done with every single team. But for Trevor Lawrence, for me, it's an A plus just because it's like, I mean, it's the most home run of home run picks. Like,
yeah,
if he would have picked anyone else, it would have been an F. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
I'd give him an A. I don't give the plus. I think the A plus would have been trading.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I disagree.
I think I would have
that.
taken something like Jonathan Taylor in a first round pick for
Yeah.
that. I just think
I agree with Al actually with that.
I can agree. His team would be better today with Jonathan Taylor and Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the jury's out on his later picks, which we'll get to, but
We'll get. He has a bunch of picks. He had the second most picks in the
What?
draft. Skylar had 9 picks. I think he had 7.
She's 9.
Yeah, something like that.
crazy.
So yeah, we'll get to all those picks.
I actually really quick. I found this before we get into it. I think I still have it. Altogether, 9 quarterbacks taken, 13 running backs taken, 20 wide receivers, and here's the one that actually is shocking to me: 6 tight ends. I didn't think that many tight ends were going to get taken, especially in this class.
It's got to be the extra flex spot coming in.
for a tight end, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter.
Just the insurance, man.
But this
How many
happened
teams
last
are
year,
how many
too.
teams are going to
people-
start 2 tight ends anyway? Like
Devin
I mean,
Asiasi is already been dropped. It is already like that. Just kind of goes to.
I mean, that's because all the Pats did was sign tight ends.
But I mean, when you're thinking about these low profile tight ends, most of the time it takes some time to develop. So if
Yeah.
people aren't going to be willing to wait around for Devi Asiasi, then
Right.
why are you going to be willing to wait around for like Trey McKitty?
And me.
No offense to Trey McKitty.
Kitty.
Yeah, Trey, if you're listening to
I
this,
love Trey
no
McKitty.
offense.
All
Great
come on,
school.
come on the podcast, man.
Great school.
Yeah.
That'd be
But,
great.
yeah, I mean, plus two, I think me and Al were saying this, like to kind of go on a tangent about that a little bit, but like you can kind of just get decent tight ends on the waiver wire, like not halfway through the year, but like week 1, because everybody but Kelsey for me was like my start, like even like Dan Arnold now is gonna hopefully be a starter, and then like Robert, what's his name, Tunyon was a starter.
I think it's more of an argument to not trade for top tight ends. Like it's more of an like besides like the top maybe 3, like maybe like there's 5 guys
Yeah.
you could justify like actually like really making a difference trading for, and it's like from tight end to like 8 down, you could probably pick up a free agent and have just as much luck at getting good weeks out of them as like
It's all matchup based at that point. There'll be guys
Exactly.
that you'll be happy to start that normally would be
Like,
like
there's-
the tight end 12, but
Right, but
not
like
that
there-
week.
Yeah.
right, and there's maybe like 6 tight ends that no matter the matchup you're starting, like at this point,
mean-
like Kittle, Kelsey, Waller, Hawkinson.
Pitts. I'm just gonna say.
And
I'll say
yeah.
Pitts. Can you say Noah Fant yet, or do you still think
No, I
he's
don't think
not
so.
proven yet?
Not especially
No.
with whoever's going to play quarterback on that roster right now.
That's true.
I just-
So it's like outside of that, it's like
Well, what if it's Aaron Rodgers throwing?
Well, then, yeah, you start him.
Then it's yes. right. So it's like
No.
besides those guys, it just the drop off's incredible.
Yeah, but you find every year there's always a couple teams in the league, NFL teams that are just miserable at defending against it. And even a couple years ago, you remember like the Raiders? It was like every single time someone played the Raiders, doesn't matter who you
Yeah.
were, you were going to be a top 3 tight end that week.
Dude, the Giants for years too.
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
man. The Giants cannot cover
It was like Jermaine Gresham was the top 3 tight end that week because he played the Raiders. Dan Arnold was like went off twice or something during the year because of that.
Love that. But
Right. So like grabbing these tight ends in the 4th round, who gives a shit? Do you think?
Yeah, no. But anyway, sorry, I just wanted to mention that. I thought that was interesting, just like as a whole player summary. But all right, we'll move to me real quickly. Najee Harris for myself. That was a guy that I've picked for quite a while that I absolutely adore. Like, just
Was
everything
that
about
when
him.
you traded for the pick? Was that your guy?
Oh yeah, I mean, even without landing spot, like it would have taken, and I think I talked to Al about this more. I think I considered Chase for like a bit, but like it was Harris from the get go, just because of his
your roster.
size, yeah. I mean, but it's even still like, even if I didn't need a running back, I still would try and go get him because he's not just a bruiser, he's a 3-down back, and he's got probably the best hands in the draft. Like I really think that, and I just, you can't get backs like this unless it's the draft. Unless you're willing to pay like a king's ransom to somebody who has one. So I know it's a risk, but with Derrick Henry getting older and Nick Chubb kind of being capped, I kind of had to take a swing for the fences on that one. So I'm happy with it. I love the player just in general. In the landing spot, he is even better. So
I think Pittsburgh can improve their O-line, but again, talent can overcome that. So if he's as talented as advertised, then yeah, I think it's a home run pick. Again, based on your roster, Harris makes sense because you have like with Met, especially like a guy like Metcalf rostered, and I know like everyone else on all the other receivers on your roster. You paid a lot to get him. I know Tyreek Hill's getting older, but I know for this year it might especially if Harris gets off to a slow start, which look at Jonathan Taylor last year, he was very frustrating. And then he broke out in the second half for sure. So if Harris has a similar year, I can see the first half of the year being frustrating. If you watch Tyreek Hill, blow up at times, which it's always possible. But again, I think, for non-super flex, I would say Harris was number one pick a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
And to go back to the Steelers O-line, they at least seem committed to wanting to fix it, unlike some teams where they just ignore it. Because they took Harris second round. They took Freiermuth, who is a good blocking, like he's great at blocking.
He's a good all-around tight end.
And then round 3 and 4 they took a guard and tackle. So first 4 picks in the draft were all probably run based.
You mean not like the Raiders who
just decide they don't need an offensive line.
They spent their already low cap space on
the Alabama Tigers of Las Vegas.
Yeah. Yes.
Guys. Like I said, and plus two, and not even to get into it, I got Sam Darnold's now clearly the starting quarterback of Carolina. Like that deal was a risk at the time, and I like it even more now.
Right.
I know it's still a risk, but
right. Darnold's up in the air for me in terms of granted they got a lot out of Bridgewater, all things considered. So who knows what they can do with Darnold? He's got weapons. So that part of the trade, it's clearly working out because when you traded for him, he was still on the Jets with kind of an uncertain future.
I just don't think Tyreek Hill at some point this year, I'm going to regret it, but his value doesn't get any higher. And for a guy that's very speed based,
right.
That doesn't last forever. You know what I mean? And if
right.
I'm trying to get out from under him now, not saying that I have to, but that was the
right. And it's one of and listen, even this whole draft recap, we could look back on this in a year and go, wow, we were all wrong. All these guys could suck, or they could all be great. Yeah. So you never. It's a risk anytime you draft. You draft.
It's the currency of hope. That's all a draft is. That's all it is. And Thom, what's your grade on that, pal?
I just want to say, I know we're in a super flex league, so quarterbacks are weighed very, very heavily. If that wasn't the case, Najee Harris is my clear number one player in the draft. Oh, yeah. That's if you're taking the quarterbacks out. With that being said, since it is a super flex league, I'm going to give the Najee Harris pick an A-, only because, in my opinion, a quarterback in standard super flex leagues, I'm seeing quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4. So.
Right.
But again, it's a home run pick, best player in the draft, in my opinion, talent wise. That's not a quarterback. So A- for that. A- just for not having a quarterback there.
Just happy to get an A. So I'm just happy to get an A. Are we only doing the first 2 rounds, or are we trying to do this whole draft? Because
we're not breaking down every pick. I can't.
We can go through it, but we'll breeze. We'll breeze through
it. I can't. I'm not sitting here and breaking down 48 picks like this. That's impossible.
I do have one quick question to you. Did you use your own analysis, Denny Kuiper Jr., or?
Whoa.
What? I watched I watched a lot of film on him, and it's just like, I mean, I saw him.
I like the
and
player.
I watched him whoop Ohio State's ass in the national championship game, and I like the guy too. Like, I really do. Like, he's such a likable guy. And
Can I also say, well, he threw that party at like the homeless shelter
That he spent time in for a couple
dude,
years.
he drove from was it Texas to Alabama?
Dallas area, yeah.
Somewhere far, yeah.
For the pro day, just
Back
to
to
watch his boys.
Tuscaloosa.
Like,
Yeah.
and I like, you know, too, like, and like I said, not to go too, like, because I could gush all day about Najee Harris, but like, everybody's like, he's older. It's like, dude, I only want him for his first contract. Like, I mean, like, what?
It doesn't matter. Like, oh, he's older, 23. Okay.
You know what,
older.
too? It doesn't matter because we could all be dead Sunday. So
That's funny.
I know. I can't guarantee that any of us will be alive.
Literally
So.
doesn't matter.
It's funny how because he's 23, he's too old. But if he came into the league and he was 20, everybody would have had questions about, well, is he fully grown up? Is he ready for the NFL?
It's so like, just overanalyzed. It really is. But you know what
I don't care about the difference between 23
I just
and
want
22
a good football player.
No.
Yeah. What was his rock paper scissor record though, and how much did he care?
Must have been bad because the Eagles passed on him.
Jamar Chase was potential 102 for me because he constantly throws paper. And nobody throws paper. It's either rock or scissors.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good sign.
Let's move on. 103, Skyler. And now I think everybody assumed I actually knew this pick before it happened. I didn't say it to anybody because he told me like a day before. But Jamar Chase here. I mean, I kind of like the strategy. I know it's a super flex league, but this is probably like outside of quarterback, second best player in the draft. And if you're going by the logic of a quarterback will fall to me later in the first round, and you don't really have a conviction on any of these other guys, I like that. I really do because he's kind of as safe as it gets. I know the situation's a little interesting with Cincinnati, but as Alex, I think you say all the time, is that line might not be as bad as you think it is next year, but. Let me kick it to one of you guys there. Just I like him, I really do.
I'll say I think we all have different rankings for guys. I mean, clearly when we get to later in the first round, you know, especially like Alex and I will have our opinions. But if you're like you said with quarterbacks, if Skyler has, you know, quarterbacks 2 through 5, where he's like, I'll take any one of these guys, then yes, you'd rather have. Like if you value Justin Fields as much as like a Mac Jones, then yes, take the better wide receiver, because if you get down to there, you know, I know certain guys went, but those top 2-3 wide receivers may not have been there at 10. Yeah. So you get your top receiver there. And then if you don't care whether you get quarterback 2 or quarterback 5, you're in a good spot. So for that, I mean, I liked the pick. It was surprising. I didn't think he'd go Chase at 3. I thought he would go, you know,
a little insider info here. He traded up to get Najee Harris.
Yeah, I knew about that.
And he texted me. He's like, "You're gonna draft Najee, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I am actually." And he's like, "You son of a bitch!" But I was like, "Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's who I'm taking."
I don't think
Kevin Nash.gif.
Yeah.
Kevin.
I don't think he paid a ton to move up. So it's not like he gave away this.
He made a great deal to get up there. I'm not gonna lie.
The one thing too, really quick, I just want to build off what Mike said because again, say what you will. If you wanted a quarterback, I personally would have taken a quarterback there just based on how my rings are. But if you were okay with quarterback 4 or 5, then sure, jump down. And I actually think so when you're going from a team specific build. On a board for Dennis's team, the number 1 non-quarterback for me would be Najee Harris. On a board for Skyler's team, the number 1 non-quarterback would be Jamar Chase because
good point.
Najee Harris will running back production early, help you win now, shorter career spanning. But Jamar Chase maybe won't hit early. We saw Justin Jefferson. You can't ever expect that to happen again. But maybe doesn't have the best production year 1, but such a longer career span for wide receivers in general than running back. So it's good to just get that solid.
Some receiver and some of these guys take a while to break out. Like, you know, I think this all needs to be prefaced where if your top pick doesn't produce year 1, there's no reason to panic.
It's quicker than it used to be because 10 years ago it was all wide receivers need 3 years. Now it's like, okay, give them 2 years and some even will break out by the end of year 1.
It's because rookie level deal, like rookie deals are so
You get, I mean, with these
Yeah.
first round picks, you get
Especially
four, right? With these first round picks, you get 4 years no matter what. I know the 5th year option becomes a bigger deal in like year 3 when they're declined, except so it's like, you got, I still think you have a couple of years with because these guys on rookie deals don't normally get cut. They're so cheap compared to other players that the
I
teams
will
are
say though,
cut.
for this,
Carry on Johnson would like to disagree.
Oh,
and his knees,
Facts.
or whatever's left of them. I do really. I think the thing that can't be overlooked about this pick is that had Skylar not had another first rounder, I don't know if he takes Chase. I think he
Agree.
probably takes a quarterback.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
you also
But
have
yeah.
to factor
Okay.
into that he does have Daniel Jones and he does have Tua on the bench, which he's sitting there.
And
I
Tyrod
think-
Taylor.
I do have
That's
some.
not under.
I have some inside info as well, actually. So
Go
he
for it.
he might have decided about on this pick about a week prior, and he actually tried to move up again in the first round,
Yeah.
closer to the middle of the round. So
Mhm.
maybe he knew that, okay, maybe I won't get the quarterback I want, so let me try to.
So
Wasn't able
he tried to move from 10 up, is what
Yes.
you're saying. Okay.
to mid round.
Which I thought he had enough to do. I'm surprised it didn't work, but
I mean, after
Um,
seeing what some of those picks, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but after seeing what some of those picks went for, it
Yeah.
was a little
Well,
harder than you think.
all this kind of brings me to my point with
Sure.
Skylar. Look, I could be completely wrong. So, Skylar, when you're watching this, don't take offense. This could be completely wrong.
yo, take offense to this, bro. He's calling you out.
Yeah, fuck it. No, I saw the pick. I saw Jamar Chase at 3, and I was like, okay. He picked Jamar Chase at 3, hoping that one of the big 4 quarterbacks is going to fall to him as next pick. Or if he's trying to trade up, even admittedly, I had talks with him about moving my 7th for his 10. So I was assuming he wanted a quarterback. I think, and we'll get to his next pick, I think it backfired. I do. I think Jamar Chase is a sick talent, though. But yeah, I think, all the quarterbacks there, if you had an inkling about taking the quarterback, you got to take him at 3. That's kind of how I
That's
feel.
my overall standpoint, but
Yeah.
But again, Jamar Chase, sick talent, sick player.
Mm.
I give the grade a B. I give that a B just because I was surprised when I saw the wide receiver go off the board. I thought it was for sure going to be a QB.
the entire time I expected a QB too. So
I just overall, I just think personally wide receivers are easier to acquire in the long run than
There's a lot
any
more
other
of
position.
them.
Right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot more of them.
But again, listen, Jamar Chase
it also
is probably,
makes
What did you give him,
It-
Tom? I did.
I gave it a B.
Yeah, I think.
And I only gave it a B just because I thought it should have been a quarterback, and it was a wide receiver. You know what I mean? The talent.
fact
I'm not
that there's
doubting the
so-
talent.
the fact that there's so many wide receivers though can make those like elite wide receivers even more valuable. So Chase is probably the only one in this draft class that has the potential to be a top
I don't
12
think
guy.
that this pick, other than
So,
Chase,
who knows?
if this pick is anybody other than Chase or Pitts in a tight end premium league, which we're not, I don't think it makes sense. But it is Chase, so I am more okay with it. And because he had the extra pick, and he did tell me, he's like, even if it's Mac Jones, I'm fine with that as long as I get one of them. I'm okay with that. So
We'll revisit in a couple years.
Right, exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
big thing with Dynasty.
All right,
You
let
can
me
say
go
all
on
you
the
want,
floor
but
here to Alex Hochberg.
Hochberg.
Hochberg. There we go. I'm going to continue to get it wrong. in
I've
this
corrected you
iteration.
so many times.
And guess what? You're still going to do it. So Kyle Pitts here. I really thought that this was I like this pick. I thought this could have been a quarterback too. Justin Fields, Trey Lance, both sitting there. But like, there's no denying that Kyle Pitts is like, if you would say, and this is just being hypothetical, if you could say like, I'm going to get 10 years, 8 years of Travis Kelce-esque production or George Kittle production, I think you sign up for that in a heartbeat, even not being a tight end premium league. I would have gone quarterback here, but like, it's so tempting to go Pitts. Like I don't blame him. I really don't.
let me say, I think if Matt Stafford doesn't get traded to the Rams and kind of have this like, ooh, Stafford's looking like maybe is he a QB1 again? Maybe he does take a quarterback because maybe he thinks Stafford's slowly on the decline. But now on the Rams, he's, you're rejuvenated, you got all these weapons, you're trying to win now. He always puts up numbers. So, I mean, it could be there, but
Yeah.
Based on how I was talking to
But-
Alex, I can't confirm that, but I kind of got, he was kind of hinting that quarterback was probably going to be that. And then the further and further he thought about Matt Stafford, I mean, I realized he has the quarterback room to be able to afford not picking one there.
Because it's Baker, Stafford. Who else? Does he have anyone else?
Fitzpatrick, which is good for
That's
this year,
another year, yeah.
and then Jameis Winston, who is a potential starter.
He should start, but that's not,
Taysom.
You mean Ian Book?
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll get to that.
Ian, I can't read a book.
All right. 10 minutes
Like I
left,
said,
so we can bang out a couple of these picks.
Oh, hold on. Let me talk about Pitts real quick too.
Yeah.
So look, he's one of the best players in the draft. Personally, besides quarterbacks,
He's a gainer, A plus.
I have Pitts as my number 2, ahead of Jamar Chase.
Really?
So I did like the pick. Again, at number 4, I thought it would have been a quarterback. I understand why he didn't with the way Stafford played out and all that. I get it. So I'm going to give that a B plus. Only reason why it's not a B is because I do have Pitts ahead of Chase in my rankings.
All right. I think that's fair. Like I said, that's a real tempting.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because
in
the long run, I think that move's going to pay off big time.
I think as Pitts slipped, I could see teams changing their strategy and going, I can't let this guy get past me.
I think he's the best talent in this draft, even outside of Trevor Lawrence. As like a football player, I think he's just the best talent except for Trevor Lawrence. Like he's so good. But
Yeah,
right.
He also, I mean, I just want to say that it must be nice to go from a really bad team to a really good team. So.
Listen, it's like I was thinking it, and you said it, man. That's crazy. How I was literally thinking the same thing.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate, bro.
This guy I actually follow on Twitter. He posted a video of a gator in Georgia, and he's like, I don't know what's going on here. He's like, Kirby Smart, keep your head on a swivel because Dan Mullen's already after you. And then
That's
people
funny.
were like, oh no, it's just them all following Pitts up to Georgia.
But so I'm not going to spend too much time on this pick because I imagine not too much effort was put into this pick. Nick at 105.
It
Really?
took him 52 seconds to make the pick.
Justin Fields, man, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like I said, I'm not even sure he knows who Justin Fields is, but he made the pick. So be it. What's your grade there, Tom? I don't even want to spend time on this.
I'm giving him an A plus. Look, it doesn't matter if I had Fields number 2, number 3, whatever. I'm just happy Nick knew that he needed to pick a quarterback.
Right.
So Nick gets an A plus. Good job.
All right. How much time we got left, Bruce?
We got like 7.5 minutes.
Okay, we'll try to do these.
The one thing I do want to know, just because I think I don't want to rush, just because this is going on. I want to make sure we give our due diligence to these first round picks. I think, and you guys were saying, Nick, it's smart to take a quarterback, and I definitely agree with that because when you look at, I'm just building off what we said, but when you look at his team, Aaron Rodgers, technically he's threatening to retire, and you never know. It could happen.
Who knows what's going to happen?
We've seen stranger things. Jalen Hurts could technically, probably not this year, but lose the job by next year. So I think it was just very smart to be able to solidify your QB room, at least with one of these high-profile rookies.
Mike Glennon too, man. Look out for that guy. Could be
Long neck
in camp.
Yeah. So, and then he still has Jimmy G for at least the beginning of the season. We'll see how long that lasts, but could be 2 years.
I said, I think I think in that second quarterback taken, it's pretty much
it's a value too.
Yeah, who do you? Yeah, especially that far down to essentially get your pick of quarterbacks because Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be there. At 5 is pretty good in a super flex.
I was kind of expecting it.
Great value.
Yeah, well, I think we said that had
Trey Sermon
went there. Well, Trey Sermon,
still on the board at this point.
somehow,
Unbelievable.
somehow. One running back already taken. Don't get it. But the one thing I will say is which is interesting to me is that I think you could have either made the argument of like Wilson or Fields or Lance here. I mean, if it was me personally, I probably would have went with Lance, but I just it's a good pick. It's kind of a no-brainer, especially given the situation of the team. So good for him, and good for Justin Fields. Hopefully next year they don't win a game. But
if I'm Nick, I would have went Lance just because he has Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I think
you at least guarantee yourself.
Guaranteeing yourself, yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, I feel like Justin Fields is most likely going to be starting before
QB1,
Jimmy Garoppolo loses his job.
QB 1.5, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised if Fields just wins that job in camp.
I think so too.
He should.
All offense to Andy Dalton, but
every and TCU.
Yeah. Full offense to
Horned
TCU,
Frog
Anthony.
whatever random generated fandom we're talking about. Anyway. All right,
I feel like
so
mine
we'll go
makes no
next.
sense too, but that's funny.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
you live in Jersey, bro. You're from there. It's your hometown, bro. Piscataway.
It's like it's an hour away.
Bro, can I tell you,
Jersey, yeah,
I'm
you're
sorry.
a Jersey Mike.
I went to
Yeah.
that. I went to that Ohio State Rutgers game. They would not stop showing that kick that guy against Louisville. Like every other play, they were replaying. It's like, we get it. It's the one thing of relevance you guys have fucking had, other than the first college football game ever being played here in New Jersey.
They love that.
It's a miracle college football even took off. To be honest with you, it's insane. All offense to Jersey.
By the way, let's cut the recording before the next two picks since they were by the same person.
Oh yeah.
All right, do it. Hey, we'll come back after a quick commercial break.
Quick commercial break. All right, we're back
We're back.
from our quick commercial break. The WB.
What's up, everybody?
So we left off giving Nick an A+. Huh.
That's crazy, bro.
All right, so the next two, you want to group them in together because
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's group them together.
So Anthony, aka Juicy Swag, aka Juicy Swag Legend, aka Juicy Swag Legend,
JR.
JR the third, the fourth, the fifth, takes in this order. I need to put it in Javonte Williams,
And then traded up
and then traded up
one pick.
one pick to get Travis Etienne, which I actually really like this to go grab the last two running backs, especially because I think this year, both of these guys, maybe not Etienne so much, but these guys aren't going to be like immediate starters like right away. So it's kind of like a little bit of a plan for the future because Melvin Gordon is still there. I don't necessarily think it's going to matter in a year. I think now they'll probably split or whatever. But with Travis Etienne, who knows what Urban Meyer's doing?
I don't think he does.
Urban Meyer, and I will say this though, Urban Meyer is a bell cow guy all the way.
He's also only bringing in former 5-star recruits.
True, and Tim Tebow, whatever. 5 frankincenses on the board.
I'm not going to take Tim Tebow slander on this podcast, dude.
That's okay. He does it himself.
I'm repping him right now, dude.
Bro, I mean, he could have switched to tight end or any other position, 10 years ago and refused. But
Tim Tebow also was a 5-star recruit, so
yeah, he was like the biggest quarterback going that year, I think. But
Yeah.
I like this. I really do, especially a team that like just desperately whose best running back was Zach Moss. I think we could agree with Zach Moss. I really like this. I know that there's probably I think like
but
Devonta Smith
emo.
he clearly the only thing I could think of here is kicking around, taking another quarterback, but he didn't seem to want to do that, which I think having all these picks, I think that may have been the right way to go. Just because, and then get a running back on top of that, whoever you like the best. But I like this. I like getting two running backs. I really do, especially because the tier falls off except for Trey Sermon, who's just way above.
I guess the discussion would be because clearly all this time, I think he thought he was going to end up with Jamar Chase at 6. So
Yeah,
he was wrong with that. So, I mean, he was very smart to just take both running backs because I think he was going to have a tough decision at 7 to choose, or I guess
Well, he was 8. He was number 8. Yeah.
I guess 8. He probably would have stayed and then maybe taken the leftovers. I feel like Tom, you might have been in the mark. I know we'll get to who your guy was, blah blah blah. But I feel like if you just looked at rosters, you could have been in the market for a running back at 7 had you stayed there. And I think maybe Anthony figured, all right, well, even if Tom takes it back, I can take the leftovers out of these two guys. I don't know if I probably 1A, 1B for him, but I like it.
I want to just Al, let me know. Do you like this, or what would you have done? I'm curious here.
I'm not the biggest fan of from a holistic standpoint. I'm not a big fan of building running backs early in a rebuild, which kind of, when you look at Anthony's team, especially with Deshaun Watson most likely not playing this year, he's definitely not done with this rebuild. So I like to save it to last, and he had the perfect team to not be getting really any running back production, which would have kept his potential points down. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. I get why you did it. Phil did it last year when he took Swift and Akers. So it's kind of similar to that, but I think Phil's team was a little further on than Anthony's was.
I agree with that.
Could you have argued him taking a second quarterback? I guess at this point, Zach Wilson or
would've.
Trey
At
Lance.
this point,
I would have.
especially because my rankings, I would have taken a quarterback here, and probably, I mean,
Devonta Smith, maybe.
yeah, maybe even if you wanted, he could trade down and get more capital, and get Devonta Smith later too. Trade down a couple picks because there would have still been another quarterback on the board. So maybe we'll talk about this too because he did a trade, but maybe still do that same kind of trade after taking a quarterback.
Let me ask before you give the grade here, Thom. Just curious, out of both of these guys, who do you like better? Just you from a not from a fantasy standpoint, but just like as a running back player, who do you?
I think I feel like Etienne's better season was 2019. I feel like if he came out then, because he came back for his senior year, which everyone said was weird. He could have came out in 2019. I thought that was his better season. Again, he was still a first round pick. Maybe he would have went higher at the end of 2019.
I think it was smart to go back because I don't think he would have been a first round pick.
Really?
It's better for him in the long run. He's
There was
way
only
more of a
one
complete player now.
There was only one first round pick last year, and it was the last pick with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't
That's
think
true.
He might have been
more running backs last year.
Yeah,
than
so
this
I
year.
think
True.
the amount of running backs pushed them down a little bit. That's why there were 2 first round picks this year because there were less running backs.
True. And maybe I guess the COVID,
I think Jonathan Taylor was a better prospect than him.
Thom, let me ask you. You're an ETN guy. I think, right?
I like ETN. I like ETN better than Javonte Williams as a player. As far as where they went, I think I would rather have Javonte Williams over ETN, at least at this moment. I don't know what they're going to do with James Robinson. I know that Denver has Melvin Gordon still, but he's getting up there.
Last year of his contract.
Yeah, last year of his contract. So I think it was smart for him to pick Javonte Williams first at 6. I gave that an A-, by the way, just because Anthony needed a back like bad, right? So I'll give you the A- there. As for ETN, I gave him a C+ on ETN. Again, I have a little more info than other people. I was the player that he traded from going. He had the 8th pick. He traded me from 8 to 7. I wasn't going to pick ETN. He traded me to get ETN. I wasn't going to pick ETN. I was going to pick Trey Lance. So he essentially he panic traded up. He didn't necessarily need to. That's why I gave that a C+.
Right. I think personally, and just my 2 cents here, I like Williams the player better. I actually like ETN the situation better because being a fan of Urban Meyers for a long time and rooting for teams that he's coached, he loves to ride one running back. And I don't know if that carries over, but the way he's done it with Ezekiel Elliott when he was there, Ezekiel Elliott didn't come off the field. Like, he legitimately didn't come off the field. So I think that there's a lot of holes for Jacksonville still, it's a head scratcher. But if you value that guy, you really need a running back, and you don't think James Robinson's the guy. So be it there. But I agree with your grade, Thom. I think that's a fair. I think another quarterback for Anthony would have.
What did Pat Shurmur do his whole career? I don't know, because all I can remember now is Saquon Barkley, and obviously you're gonna ride with just Saquon Barkley. But
Pat Shurmur.
Was Adrian Peterson still in Minnesota when he was in Minnesota?
I think he was.
I don't remember.
I think he was towards the tail end, maybe.
Maybe Dalvin Cook was the beginning of that too.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna go. You don't take a running back first overall.
I've
not ride him.
It's
Also,
the draft capital for me with that.
I've hinted on it on another podcast now. I've hinted on it that I've almost liked Javonte Williams better than ETN. I kind of flip back and forth from the two of them. I think it's pretty close as a prospect standpoint. The way I'm viewing Javonte Williams is kind of like how I viewed J.K. Dobbins last year, where you really he'll probably get more work than J.K. Dobbins did early, but you can't really expect much out of it in year 1. But year 2, all full go. And then ETN, I could see a situation where ETN is actually the best running back this year. Its odds are not in favor of that, but I could see it technically happening. Maybe I give it like a 20%. Yeah, maybe I give it a 20% chance, just because I don't believe that Pittsburgh's gonna go back to running that much, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't
It depends on. I think there's a lot of factors in that. Is
I
Big
think
Bang
goal line
going to keep?
It's also a
breaking
PPR.
down and
I don't know. I could see, like I said,
Harris is
odds
gonna,
are not in that favor, but Harris could get 300 touches and average like 3.5 yards per carry. So
That's
it's like,
true. But I think you're going to see with the Steelers, you're going to see what you got when like Connor first got there, and like he's just going to get all the goal line work. I really do.
like I said, odds are not on the
It's definitely
side.
possible. Though.
I could see it like 20% chance that ETN outperforms.
All right, so let's go to the next one, which is our very own Al trading up. I don't remember the logistics of that trade, so you'll forgive me on that. Trey Lance at the 108, which I think is a steal. I think that's a great move, and I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, I traded up with Tom. Trade up with Tom, the 12th pick of the first round up to his 8th pick, my 2023 first round pick, and my 10th pick of the second round of this year to move up and take Trey Lance. I considered Zach Wilson here. I like Zach Wilson a lot, to be honest. And the more I thought about it, I think I like Zach Wilson better, the football player better than Trey Lance. But for fantasy, just with the potential you have of Trey Lance running, for fantasy, I guess I have Trey Lance ahead. But I knew I needed to trade up for a quarterback. That was my main thing, because if you look at my quarterback room, it's still fine. I have Mahomes, I have Roethlisberger, I have a project in Drew Lock. Roethlisberger would get me through this year, barring injury. But for the future, I definitely need a quarterback, and I think it was a good opportunity seeing some of these guys fall to move up.
Yeah, he was my quarterback too. Actually, at the end of the day, I think he's the situation. Given the situation, what he can be, I think especially with a quarterback, you want to swing for the fences, especially if you don't need him right away.
Zach Wilson was the safe pick. Trey Lance was definitely the aggressive.
I agree, and I think the thing, I'll talk about it a little bit more with the next pick, but I think people are still like kind of stuck at that Adam Gase Jets. Like, it's going to be totally different, and I actually think Zach Wilson to Bruce at the next pick is a steal too. I really do. Any quarterback as late is too, but Bruce, you got anything on the trade?
So I'll only kind of, we'll get to it more when we say my pick, but I'll just say that I did have Trey Lance ahead of Zach Wilson for kind of the same reasons Alex said. It's the rushing. Whenever you can get a quarterback that's going to run for fantasy, you jump at it. And the original offer Anthony made me for the 9th pick, had Trey Lance been there, I probably would have jumped at it before we had that 16-hour pause at that point.
Yes.
But we'll get there when we get to it. But I like the pick. I like him in San Francisco. He's in a good offense. Say what you want about Kyle Shanahan, but I think
the pieces are there at least, regardless of what you think.
The guys are there. The guys are there. And listen, you don't trade. You don't trade up. You don't trade 3 firsts away. Clearly
I did trade less than Kyle Shanahan.
Well, they
be alive.
You can't no guarantees. No guarantees. But listen,
Thank Christ they didn't draft Mac Jones. Thank Christ they didn't draft Mac Jones.
But listen, I think it's a good pick, especially you explained. I think you're gonna, if you don't need a quarterback this year, you may when Trey Lance is the guy.
One more thing I want to say too, because I said I was going to say it on the podcast. I want to apologize to any criticism I might have given Skylar for trading up last year. I know Skylar gave up more than I did. He also made the jump from 11 to pick 3, I believe. So I understand what it's like when you really want a quarterback, and the pressure is there to try to get this deal done. So it's
a very you don't want anything to get in the way, because
I was telling Tom about this.
You've made up what you want.
I knew I wanted to move up for a long time. I was talking to Anthony about the 9th pick for months, and it kind of was always, let's wait till I'm on the clock to see who's there. And I knew I wanted a quarterback, so I knew Anthony wasn't looking at one at the time. And that never changed. So, I was praying that one of these quarterbacks were going to fall. I was praying that Anthony wasn't going to have a guy he liked particularly that much at 9. To do that. And, but once I started talking to Tom, it kind of got to the point where Tom had the option to just name his price. Obviously I wouldn't have given up like one of the stud players I need, but in terms of picks, he could just name his price, and I was pretty much going to give it because I just wanted the conversations to end, because I knew other people were vying for that trade up as well.
Right. No, I agree. Let me guess here, Thom. I'm just gonna take a swing at this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's in the A range. What do you got there for me?
Oh yeah, it's an A+. I think Trey Lance, in my opinion, was quarterback 2. I think as far as our draft, he should have went between 2 and 4, and to see him there at 8 is crazy. I was like, again, I was fully planning on picking Trey Lance, and then I kind of got an offer. In my opinion, an offer I can't refuse. So I took that deal just to go back down to 12. But yeah, man.
You could have asked for Chase Edmonds too, and on top of all of it, I would have given you Chase Edmonds.
Well, hindsight's 2020. Now I feel like an idiot, but I actually did. To me, I mean, you guys might disagree. I actually feel like I did get a lot for that.
Absolutely.
For that pick.
I will say this, and I'm going to interrupt this. I think you and we kind of touched on it before with the trade you made with Skyler, and I told you straight to your face I thought that it was an awful trade when we were talking. But you know what? You realized you made a mistake, and I gotta say, you came out really well from that.
I think the overall drop from 3, right? You're the third pick.
Yeah, from 3.
The overall drop from 3 to 12, you definitely were compensated over the amount for that drop.
And what you got at 12, I think, given
the end of a tier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I think you did really well, man.
Yep.
I really do. But
I agree.
Let's go to Bruce as we have to. No, just kidding. Bruce traded up to the 109 with Anthony to get Zach Wilson. Again, great that guy's sitting there. I don't remember the logistics of the trade. So
I offered the same trade to Tom. I offered 2.12 and a first. It was more of a throw an offer out there and see what happens type of thing. It wasn't really like I was originally trying to trade up with Tom for Jalen Waddle. I know we'll get to him later, but I was kind of looking like I had my receiver tiers and I had my thoughts going, and then obviously Tom said he got a better offer, which he did. So I threw.
What's funny is we were talking about that too, and Mike, you text me and you're like, he says he got a better offer, and I'm just like, wow, but I knew it was my offer.
Oh yeah, well,
dude, it made
sense.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I just said, wow.
I threw, and it's funny
That's
because
true.
I threw the same offer out to Anthony, and once he saw what Tom got, Anthony wasn't going to budge from that, and I initially he wanted what I had offered, 2.12 and a first next year and the 14th pick. And then Anthony was like, think about this. I'm going to work. So really it was a matter of
double too.
Yeah. That's when we had our, 16-hour pause. It was a matter of time. I was going to pass. I was like, nah, that's too much. I don't want to give up all those picks and, just for one guy. But then I spent, the night kind of like I was on YouTube. I was just looking up players, looking up this and I kind of was, doing the picks, going over the picks in my head, figuring, all right, well, Mac Jones would be to me at 14. I couldn't sell myself on Mac Jones because it got to the point where I said, all right, if I trade up, who do I take? Do I take and give myself a third quarterback because I have no other starters besides my 2, regardless of how good, how talented they might be. I have no third quarterback. If I have an injury or if I have bye weeks, I'm screwed. So that played a factor. And knowing that, okay, Zach Wilson's not falling, clearly someone's grabbing him before the 14th pick, but I was still going to pass. And then when I woke up, Anthony, we went back and forth when Anthony, I guess, got out of work and he was, still awake for however long he was.
The whole day.
Yeah,
he stayed up the whole day until like 12 o'clock at night.
Yep.
It's insane.
So
that is a talent.
He was up for like 36 hours or something.
Yeah,
with
that's crazy.
Just a 20-minute nap.
Yeah.
Dedication.
So basically, when Anthony kind of countered with, what if I added the 2.06? I was okay with it because then the prices became I'll give the first next year to move up both of my picks.
I actually liked your guys' trade. I also want to say one thing real quick. Let this be a lesson for literally everyone in the league, even us. I made a deal with Alex, and Anthony immediately called me saying, "Oh, if I got that deal, I would have done that trade." I was like, "Dude, you've been talking to Alex for fucking months."
Anthony had the opportunity.
So
not to really give just Anthony criticism because this is with
it's not just Anthony, but real quick before you continue, my whole thing is you have to be willing. Okay, this is on the table, perfect. But when someone contacts you, just name your price, and you never know what could happen, right? Alex contacted me. I just named my price, and in 30 seconds, the trade was on my phone.
We got our full negotiations done. Like Tom hinted that he was going to be trading his 7th pick earlier, so I kind of planted the seed there, saying, "Yeah, I'm interested in the 7th pick." But we never even talked about the price for that. I just said, if you were ending, because Tom wasn't even sure he was going to trade. I was like, if you're ending up going to trade it, I'm interested. And then our full negotiations, though, once he actually moved down to 8, took maybe at most 15 minutes.
Yeah, maybe.
So
And most of that was me going home from the grocery store, so I didn't answer.
yeah. Most of it was hold on, I gotta get out of Hannaford. Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Me and Thom even. I mean, we were talking about towards the end of the first. We were talking about running backs, and he was like, I was telling him like I could give you like one of the RB2s I have. He's like, well, what about Henry? And I'm like, I really don't want to move like Henry. And I told him, I'm like, we'll just throw it out. Like, what would you give me? And I'm like, that's fair. Like, but like, I would need like even more than that, like in my situation right now, which I appreciate, as opposed to like, well, what do you do? What do you want? What do you?
Yeah.
do?
Listen,
Like,
I know, like, I know we said it, but trade negotiations cannot go.
I think
like,
I offered you like Travis Kelce for like the 103, like over the winter. I think. Like,
Yeah, I remember that.
And you were just like, yeah,
That was before you made your deal.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
like, dude,
right.
like, what's the worst that can happen? So
Right.
this is
Like trades can't go, hey, this guy or this pick is for sale. And then just like not say what.
Well, I think in
We've
Anthony's
always said the make me an offer doesn't work.
Yeah.
that's the thing. In Anthony's case, he wants it to be like Madden, where you put a player on the block and then you get 4 offers when you simulate
Doesn't
the
work.
next week.
I mean, it would have worked for Tom at 112, but
Right.
Oh, it did, dude. I woke up
Dude,
to a whole bidding war on my phone. I was like, holy shit.
You know, I essentially presented you a blank check, and I was ready to.
All right, so let's. All right,
Deal.
I'm gonna cut that.
But back to 1.0.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about
Yeah,
What's
when we
your
get there.
grade? What's your grade on that, Tom? I'm guessing in the A again.
did we even
with
say who
Mike?
Mike took? I don't even remember
Yeah,
where
Zach
we're
Wilson.
at.
Yeah, it said
Oh,
Zach
okay.
Wilson.
I don't even remember now.
I'm giving Mike an A for Zach Wilson. Again, I like Trey Lance more. I know he wasn't available. I gave Trey Lance an A+. I'm gonna give Zach Wilson an A.
Yeah. And my other logic for trading up was trading for a quarterback, especially in season. Like if I was to have an injury as a contending team, and like Zach Wilson's gonna start. So like I know
to counter that.
I
It
know
actually is easier in season sometimes because, for example, you'll have maybe I'm sorry, Phil, but I'm gonna pick your team out. Maybe Phil's not in playoff contention anymore, and he has Matt Ryan and he has Ryan Tannehill, who are both 30 at least. I know Tannehill's turning 33. Matt Ryan's like 36 or something now.
Yeah.
So he could
True.
be willing to do it, but
I think
that's a risk. That's a
right,
risk.
and that's why, like, when Anthony offered to include his mid-second, I took it because it was a first to move up both of my picks that I had in the second round. You know, going from the 2.02 to 1.09, and then the 2.12 I had to 2.06, the price of one, which is probably going to be a late first. I let Anthony pick which first he wanted. He took Dennis's instead of mine. But either way, it's projected late.
You take that personally, Dennis?
Yep.
It's to trade away a projected late 2022 first. And if I was trading for a third quarterback, I don't like the quarterbacks next year as much as the guys in this draft. So that also played a factor.
Know who the quarterback?
Sam Howell,
Spencer
Rattler,
Spencer
Willis,
JT Daniels, I believe might be up there.
If he has a good season, depends. He looked.
But
good
either way,
when he came back,
I kind of like Howell, but I liked these guys way more than those
you know
guys.
what it is? I totally get it because you're in the moment, and you know, and like if you can get a guy that you like, I've always said this, and I will say this again, like how I paid as much for I did for Najee Harris. If you like a guy, go get him. Like you know what I mean? Like everybody can be bought.
And I'm glad I did because like I threw out like I tossed Julio Jones out, which Anthony didn't want, even though he told me last week he really considered Julio Jones for the 6th pick when I offered it to him.
All right, Anthony also told me and Tom that he wouldn't have ever done that trade. So
that's true. That is. I'm hearing conflicting things now.
As long as we're airing grievances here, I really got to get this out in the open because like it's like really crazy to me how like everybody now just like needs to win a trade. Like in like, you know, I know everybody like for the most part like wants to like be the guy who comes out on top, but like sometimes you don't always have to come out on top.
It
to
also
get what you want.
changes.
I've
not
said-
always-
It's also about the position you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've said
If you-
I've said a ton that I think the ultimate value, like if you take a trade calculator and plug a trade in, like that
Dude, fuck trade calculators.
because one, those are based on one dude's rankings who's making a calculator, and two, like you can't judge every trade based on absolute value. They're
Trade
like you said, there's
calculators-
needs
trade
and
cal-
wants and
Trade calculators are arbitrary numbers given to arbitrary rankings by an arbitrary individual. Like that, it's.
Except for
it's-
keep trade cut.
I don't.
727,000 data points to come up with those values.
Subjective.
Third
But-
party.
Everything's
Or
subjective.
not
man.
third party. It's whatever it's called. I don't
But
know.
it's just like the trade calculators drive
Open
me up the
source.
wall because it's just like
Right.
it's like
but
dude,
some
like,
people that's the end all be all with trading.
Well, some people in our league, that's the end all be all. I know.
Yeah,
for a
I
fact.
know at
how
least
I
two
got-
people.
That's how I got Ayuk.
I know at least
how
two
I
people.
got
Oh,
Ayuk.
come on. Don't call out anybody. Just say
That's how I got Ayuk.
But I guarantee you, I don't care because I guarantee you, if you plugged in my trade to Tom, they'd probably say that Tom won the trade. But I'm happy, and that's all that
Yeah.
matters. Like I'm happy with it.
It's-
I'm happy with
I just
them.
gave away
That's how trades work.
the wide receiver, one of the wide receiver, like a top
Yeah.
5 dynasty wide receiver for Sam Darnold and what was going to be Najee Harris.
What's
Now,
very funny?
Months later, Sam Darnold's a starting quarterback in a better situation.
Yep.
Najee Harris is in probably the best landing spot
Yep.
he could be in, and Tyreek Hill is probably potentially in jail. We don't know that.
I want to make one more point about trade calculators. If you plug in, some trade calculators, if you plug in the pick, it will give you a much higher value than plugging in the player taken at that pick.
Well,
Yeah.
but there is reason for that, and generally, when you're talking about draft pick value standpoint, the pick itself is worth more than the player there
Right.
because
I agree with that.
the pick is maybe your rankings are different than my rankings. Maybe at 109 you have Zach Wilson. Maybe at 109 I have Mac Jones. So to us, we're like, oh, the 109 is great,
Right.
but like if you plug in Mac Jones, you're like, oh no, I don't like that specifically.
I agree with
the
that.
pick itself has multiple options to appease the person that's taking
It's
it,
malleable.
where
It's way more
the
malleable.
player is a set in stone thing.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So we gave the A right there. We got the grade. All right. We'll go.
Yeah, it's
we'll
an
go. We'll go. How much time we got left? I don't know.
At least 10.
I didn't get a 10-minute warning. So
We hadn't been recording the whole time.
I'm just going to bed if that's.
Yeah, I would give up.
We are
110 Mac Jones. So Skylar's strategy of wait.
Oh,
and
would
see
you look at that? 10 minutes.
pays off. It's like I'm an oracle, he said for some reason, really close to the camera. Mac Jones at 110. He told me before, he said that this was the strategy and he thought that Mac Jones, he was really excited. He thought Zach Wilson was going to fall to him and then Bruce jumped
Almost
in front
did.
of him.
Almost
But
did.
I'll say this. Both trade ups, like if they didn't happen, I think he would have had his choice of Wilson and Jones at 10.
probably. I will say though, I do like this strategy from Skylar because now he's got Mac Jones, Tua, Jones. Does he have anybody else there that I'm forgetting? But
Tyrod
Taylor for 1 year.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. And I like that. You know what I mean? Like, even if one of those guys becomes an alpha, I'm still a Tua guy. I'm still a Tua believer. I really am. But who knows? You don't know for sure.
He also has Jacoby Brissett, who is the backup to Tua. So
yeah,
Someone.
I like
That worked
this.
out.
I
worked
do.
out.
I do like this. I mean, the other argument you could make would be Devonta Smith here, but again, I think Mac Jones he wanted the quarterback for Superflex, a good position with a good system who can get the most out of his quarterback. Who's
I'm okay with him taking it at this point, especially because you don't know.
Sorry.
stop.
It's so funny. I'm sorry.
I just got it.
It was like a pause at the end of that. And there just
Yes.
didn't need to be. I'm okay with him taking it, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Kyle likes guys.
This is getting taken down on YouTube. We're gonna have to send this to Lucho.
I might go to jail.
Yo, all right, continue, bro.
I'm okay with him taking Mac. I think because he had 13th pick, I think Mac Jones would have been there at 13 if he wanted to take a better player. I don't necessarily know if Alex Hochberg would have taken Mac Jones at 11.
I don't think so.
Right. But again, if you don't know that, you don't know that for sure. That's why you draft.
Skyler
how
would
you
have
draft.
known that.
Exactly. But again, my feeling all along is if I didn't trade up for the quarterback, I would have gotten Mac Jones at 14. I think with the way the draft was kind of shaping up. But it is what it is. He took.
Let me ask you, because let me ask Tom maybe specifically, because he might have talked to Anthony as much as I have. I kind of was under the assumption that if Anthony didn't trade the pick, he was taking Devonta Smith. Do you?
Yeah, he told me he was.
He told me that as well because
Okay.
I called him, like, instead of texting, he called me instead as we negotiate at like 7:40 in the morning.
Yeah, he said I might have a trade in place, but if I don't trade it, I'm taking Devonta Smith.
I kind of thought that was the case.
Yeah. But listen, Mac Jones, like I said, I couldn't get on board with him. That's why I traded up.
Oh, I can. I think it's a good spot personally. I like Mac Jones.
I like him in the location. I like it better.
Great landing spot for him because we've seen time and time again that New England Patriots know how to use these types of quarterbacks. Matt Castle had a fantastic year that 1 year, so, and Mac Jones is definitely a better player than Matt Castle was. So top 15 overall pick as well. You got the draft capital, right where he probably should have been the entire time. So I don't want to hear, not from you guys, but from anybody else, that he fell to here because this is where he was supposed to go. I like it, man. If in quarterback and super flex, I know that Mac Jones might not have the ceiling of some of these other guys, but everyone should be starting 2 quarterbacks, and it's very valuable to have a guy like Mac Jones.
No, I'm on board with that. What do you?
Right,
Agreed.
Look, I just want to say, to me, Mac Jones was the only quarterback that was completely off my board at all times. I personally don't really like Mac Jones at all.
As a person, has nothing to do with it.
No, a great name. He has a great name, but not a fan of Mac Jones at all. I understand you need the quarterback. For that, I give it a B-, but I don't think Mac Jones is anything more than a serviceable backup quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know, man. He pushed it downfield. He had the highest yards per passing attempt out of all these quarterbacks.
Yeah, look who he was throwing to.
I get it, but look who everyone else is throwing to as well.
Sometimes
Trey Lance is sitting here with the fucking Alabama of the
You're right.
FCS, and everyone's 15 yards open.
You're right about that.
I mean, Justin Fields had Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson.
Yep.
I will say this though, I think there is something commendable. I don't think skill set wise he's the best here, but there is something commendable to be given the keys to Ferrari and then not crashing it, because essentially that's all he needed to do. He's not a type of guy that's going to dictate front and coverages that like people really have to worry about, but.
And he did it without Waddle. Waddle got hurt in the first couple games of the season. He did it with just Devonta Smith, and then John Mechie was a good wide receiver as well. But
I think I'm just
bro. He's better than Smith. What are you talking about?
He put up better numbers than Tua did, and everyone had Tua up on this pedestal.
Well, that's the thing.
And
See,
Tua
I'm not the biggest
fucking-
Tua guy either. I'm not the biggest.
I know that.
I don't believe in Alabama quarterbacks. That's number one. And to me, the most successful Alabama quarterback is Tua, and he's a backup or was a backup. And he started, and he wasn't really that great there. I like Justin Fields. Yeah.
What about Ohio State quarterbacks?
Got the player, not the helmet.
Didn't we have this argument like months ago about
I think
like you can't just take the team and sign.
We can move on from this too. Yeah.
All right, let's do one more of these.
I understand why you don't like Mac Jones. Though I get people that don't like Mac Jones. So
he's fine to me.
I think a great guy.
I think any other landing spot, and I think you question it, but I think he's in the best possible spot.
He is in the best spot, and I understand Skyler wanted and needed the quarterback. Makes sense to me. It does.
Yeah.
In a Superflex league, it's never a bad pick to take. For sure.
Well, I mean, except maybe Ian Book, but.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll get these last 2 first-round picks, and then we'll speed through the rest of them because I am losing steam.
We're breaking down the first-round picks. The rest we can.
Second round, we
don't have to have these breakdowns.
Yeah,
right, perfect.
We'll be right back.
All right. We'll be back, as Bruce said.
And we're back. We left off with pick 10, Mac Jones. So we're on to the 11th overall pick.
All right, 111. And this is who's this?
The story of a girl.
Alex Hochberg. There we go.
Nailed it.
Yo, sick job, dude.
Hochberg. Got it. Got it in there. But Devonta Smith at 1
God, this is a fucking steal at this point.
And this is a steal. I tried to get up. Up to the.
It was the pause. You
It's
had the pause.
No pause. No pause. I tried to get up to actually
Pause.
to trade for him, and I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get enough. So God damn, man, it's great. But yeah, this late in the draft, Devonta Smith, man, that's it.
Yeah.
Immediate wide receiver 1 on his team. Don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be or if it's any good, but just production wise, I think he's going to be really, really good there. So
I'll say that at 9, it like I had like, oh yeah, Zach Wilson, and then like when I actually made the trade, I was staring at Smith and Waddle and Wilson, and I had the screen up for select player, and then I was like, oh, what am I doing? And I backed out like twice, and I took Wilson, but I had Smith and Waddle, and I was going back and forth with that as well. Ultimately, I took the quarterback, but I was hovering around all those guys. So yeah, Smith at 11, fucking steal.
yeah, I agree. Some people, it probably easily wide receiver 2. I think maybe not easily.
I wouldn't say
I think
easily.
it's my unpopular opinion is I have him at wide receiver 3.
I have him and him at 2, but the guy I have at 3 is like neck and neck. It doesn't make it, and they're the 2 in a tier, and then there's a big tear drop for me.
He's definitely in a upper tier.
I had
1,000%.
I had kind of Chase by himself,
Same.
like in that top, and then Smith and Waddle, and then a tier
Same.
3.
Same.
Makes sense.
I mean, that's just there's really not even too much to say about that. That's just
No,
It's
a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Essentially because Waddle was there too, but I think I like this situation.
at that point, it's just who do you right? Like, what's your rank at that point? Like, it wouldn't have like Smith Waddle. Either one is a steal at 11.
I will also note too, for a PPR league, it helps Smith more because I think Smith will easily lead that team in targets where Waddle might not. He could, but I think the odds are that Smith will lead the team in targets.
What is your grade there, Thom? What do you got?
I'm giving him an A.
Yeah.
That's a solid A for me. Again, to me, it was between one of 2 wide receivers, and whichever one you pick, I mean, come on, it's solid.
I agree. You can't disagree with that. So we'll go down to you, Thom. Finally getting a pick in here at the 112.
Yes.
You went Jalen Waddle.
This was crazy, bro. When I was sleeping, for context, guys, I was sleeping when it was.
We
turn for me to pick.
knew.
All right.
Well, I also did see you dropped players at 4:30 in the morning, so I wasn't expecting you to be awake yet.
Yeah, I didn't go to sleep
9.
until 5:30 because I was playing MLB The Show. All right, and then I woke up to, not even kidding, 6 offers from 6 different people.
And
I
I
was
wasn't one of them. I
No.
knew about him, so I texted Tom like, "You might have a bidding war, man."
I was like, oh my gosh.
I was ready to present a blank check, figuring, hey, if I can get out of this draft with Wilson and Waddle, that'd be pretty cool. But hey, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, so-
Something against the wall. I don't think it was much, but whatever I had. I don't even remember.
I mean, for me, it was like, look, I had the number 3 pick. I traded down to 7. Then I traded down to 8. Then I traded down to 12. So I was like, for Waddle to still be there after like 3 or 4 trades, I'm just taking him.
You didn't
know
want
what
to
I mean?
end up in a Keyshawn Vaughn situation where you keep trading back and you get a shit player.
Well, no, I also didn't want to. So I also picked Waddle, and then I also got a couple messages from people saying that they were surprised I didn't take a running back. Like they were surprised I didn't take Sermon, for instance.
No, not.
I'm just not doing it. A couple. I don't want to name names, but there's a couple people that were like,
I could have had you
That's
taking
a tier
Sermon.
break. At that point.
Yeah.
That's a tier break. You need to just take at 112, whoever
Yeah.
falls to you there. And
Yeah.
it just kind of so happens that there's 12 there in that kind of
Yeah.
tier. Whether or
If
not
the
you want to
draft-
throw Mac
yeah.
Jones in there, but you kind of have to
Yeah.
because of the quarterback. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
You can't overthink that.
if our draft played out how it should have, and I think if Smith and Waddle were gone, yes, I think you either trade or take, or I don't know. Actually, you probably wouldn't have gotten enough offers to trade back. I think you would have just taken Sermon at that point. But with Waddle there, it's not even a question.
well, if they would have been off the board, someone would have fell. I just would have taken whoever fell. at
Well,
that point.
my thing is, you say you have Mac Jones off your board. So if say Mac Jones didn't get picked, then it was Smith and Waddle the picks before.
Yeah,
That's
then I would have probably tried to trade it.
I
I would have given the illusion. I would have given
My
the
offer
illusion
would've
that I wanted to take Mac Jones, and then I think someone would have paid a little bit to just get the last quarterback.
Yeah,
In that
you
tier.
probably could have traded down. You probably could have traded down one pick with Skyler.
Yeah.
And that would have been fine because then I would have taken best available. I guess could have been either Bateman or something like that, or Sermon. I just would have taken the best available.
Yeah,
I agree. So here, being critical of yourself, what grade did you give yourself?
Yeah, so I kind of went with an overall, like after everything that happened. So I'm giving myself an A+, all right? Because I'm giving myself an A+, man. I traded back. The first trade wasn't too great. The next two, I think I made out really well, and I still got them in my board, the number 2 wide receiver in the class.
Because I wouldn't be doing my job as something. Whatever my job is, I don't know. But I think we all, as a group here, should grade you. I'm saying A- only because that initial trade was really bad at the time and it just got worse. But like I said, great recovery, stuck the landing, and I'm really happy. A-.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are okay with that, but I think that.
I mean, it's A for the player overall for me. Like
Right.
you could have argued taking Waddle at 7 and not even like trading with Alex or trading with Anthony and then trading with Alex.
You know what, Tom? I'm gonna stick with your grade and just give you an A+ because
Teacher's pet.
well,
Thanks, Alex.
I'm really happy you traded with me. So, but
Oh,
the
okay.
big thing, you know what? The big thing that pushes it up from I was going to give you an A, and then I thought about it a little more. I'll give you an A+. The big thing was the illusion that you were going to take a running back at 7 and moving down to 8 and just getting a free pick.
Well, everyone thought for months I was going to take a running back at 7. I had Trey Lance in my head the whole time.
I thought before the draft, maybe there's a slight chance that Lance falls to
I was telling
14.
the entire time too when Mike, you're saying that, I'm like, if Lance falls to 12, I'm 100% scooping him up. So it was
Makes
like, there's no
sense.
shot. Yeah.
You guys are all idiots. I was going Trey Sermon had he fallen, but he didn't. He did.
Damn, bro.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
All right. Well, no, honestly, I like what you did. I really did. So we're in the second round now. We're going to go rapid fire here. We're going to go between the boys, and I'm going to give the honor of the 201 Trey Sermon to Skylar. I'm going to give it to Alex there. What do you think?
Oh boy. It's fine. That's all I have to say. Trey Sermon, it's a running back. He needed a running back. He went to San Francisco. If he can somehow be the guy,
Traded up to get him too.
yeah, if it can somehow be the guy, great. If I think it's more likely he ends up splitting in the backfield, and you'll be happy sometimes, and other times you'll be like, what the fuck? Why did fucking Jeff Wilson score 1 million points?
Yeah, San Francisco, it's like the best and worst place to go.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
it's
for
fine.
fantasy.
Your
fine.
grade there, Thumb?
I give it a C+.
Okay.
I give it a C+.
I do like some of the wide receivers better.
Oh, that's why I had some wide receivers. If we're doing tiers, I had a couple wide receivers higher. That's number 1. Number 2, you're going to a true running back by committee team.
And they drafted another running back,
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell.
Mitchell? Wilson?
Elijah Mitchell.
A lot of Elijahs this year.
All right. 202. That is Mr. Juicy Swag himself. I'm going to give it to Bruce Rashad Bateman.
So this is actually exactly who I was targeting had I kept the 14th pick. If I decided to not go Mac Jones, it would have been Rashad Bateman. He was the first quarterback in tier 3 for me. So like based on the board, yeah, this would have been my pick. I like it for Anthony. The only thing I'll say is, again, for my rankings, for me trading that first next year to end up with 2 better players. I think Anthony takes a step back with who he overall drafted. I know he gets the extra pick next year, but I don't know. To me, Devonta Smith is way better than Rashad. And we all could be wrong, but I think the landing spot's rough. I think Baltimore, there's still questions with how well, what are the targets going to be? What's Lamar's ceiling as far as passing in real life? I know Bateman's very good, but ultimately, I would have taken him, but ultimately, maybe there's question marks.
I actually, I was telling Dennis, I love Rashad Bateman, the player. Pre-draft, he was actually pre-draft, he was actually my wide receiver too. But Baltimore, yeah, I agree with you there. Based on how that went, it's funny because and seeing how the other wide receivers went, I'd rather have just traded down to 206 and gotten extra equity for that, because all those guys I
offered Anthony to move up to swap the 2 picks, and he went, "Oh, you're regretting trading?" I said, "No, there's a guy I would like at that point, but I wasn't going to offer a ton to move up at that point." And
What's the grade, Tom? That's
Yeah,
what.
Tom, what's your grade?
I give it a B. I give it a B. Anthony already has Hollywood Brown on the Ravens, so that kind of sucks for him. But I really like Bateman. So, and
That's
I
not
think it's like a good. It's a safe pick at that spot. I feel
Yeah.
like.
It's not a bad thing to have both wide receivers. You could always move them. Phil did it with Debo and Ayuk. There's a couple other instances when people traded stuff. Also, I want to go back really quick to Skylar's pick. Mike, I think you mentioned he traded up for that, but he just had that pick for a while. Like that was a pick
did I say he traded up? I didn't think I said he.
I said they traded. I said San Francisco.
or maybe
traded up to
Dennis.
get
Sorry.
Tracer.
Oh, you're saying they traded for Tracer. Okay, I thought we were talking about Skylar because it says
No, I was gonna say I
pick
didn't
traded,
think he. I
but
didn't
it
think
says
he
pick
traded up
traded.
for
But
that.
no, that was part of the trade where I was getting another first round pick to get AJ Brown.
Yeah.
So 203. Kyle finally gets on the board here. Terrace
Hey,
Marshall.
welcome,
Not-
Kyle.
Not a bad first pick. I'm gonna go with myself here. I actually really like what they've done with this offense. I think now if Terrace Marshall's that other guy on the outside and they can keep DJ Moore or whoever.
DJ Moore will play the slot.
DJ Moore will play in the slot. I think that's even better for him. Hopefully Sam Darnold comes through, but I like Terrace Marshall a lot. I know the medicals on him were not great, but I think Terrace Marshall is actually a little slept on in this draft. So yeah, I like that pick, especially.
I think he fell in real life and our draft because of injury concerns.
A lot of medical concerns popped up for these players because they were getting medical information so late. So the NFL teams were being extremely conservative. What a surprise! But they were being extremely conservative with taking players that didn't have poor medical history.
Tom, what do you got a grade wise?
I got Terrace Marshall as a B. Solid wide receiver.
I agree with that. All right. 204 from the Wreck Nicking. Elijah Moore. I'll give it to you, Alex.
Actually, I love Elijah Moore, the player. A lot of these wide receivers I liked, but he was I don't remember, wide receiver 5, I think, after, because I said Bateman was 2, then I had Smith, then I had Waddle, then Elijah Moore, I believe, was my original order. The Jets landing spot it's not a bad landing spot. He should immediately supplant Crowder there. So it's not a bad spot. And like we said, the Jets, they seem a little
Jimmy Crowder
different.
gets cut, and then we said that.
Well, they save a lot of money.
Then he's going to go to the Patriots.
So it's fine. I think it's fine. Again, I would just like to be at the bottom of the tier and get the last guy because I had so many wide receivers so close, but it's fine.
I think Elijah Moore is actually, I'm just going to say this before I go to the grade. I heard a stat that he has it's like some of the best production numbers ever in college football or something strange like that.
He put up very, very good numbers. And if his name was, I've heard this on another podcast that I've listened to, guys, if his name is Rondale Moore, we'd all be going crazy for this guy, but because it's Elijah Moore, we don't care as much.
Right.
He also played, as a freshman. I think he was a freshman on the field with AJ Brown and DK Metcalf. So it's hard to be better than those guys, and he still put up okay numbers that year. So
yeah, I think that's good. What do you got a grade wise, Tom?
I just want to say real quick, I'm going to change Kyle's grade to a B minus because I think Elijah Moore is a better pick. So I'm going to go put Elijah Moore as a B, Terrace Marshall as a B minus. Yeah, and that's that. It's a wrap.
Also, not that I want to. Not that anyone's ever going to listen to this, but I do want to give the shout out to the person I heard this on the podcast. It was the Fantasy Pros Dynasty podcast with Ray Garvin was the one that said that. So
shouts out to Ray
just
Garvin.
to give the real shout out because I have to give credit for the guy that actually said
My
that.
guy Ray Garvin. That's how
Oh, good shit, Ray.
All right. So next one, Kenneth Gainwell, running back Philly from Nick at the 205. I mean, that's.
I don't. This was weird, and I think I don't think we were recording when I said I texted Nick saying, "Hey, because I had the pick after him. I said, hey, I'll give you my third, just swap picks, because I had my one guy who I took that was kind of still on my board at that point, and he said, nah, bro, no deal. It's like, all right,
he's got his guy, dude.
He said, yeah, but Michael Carter's the guy there now over Gainwell.
It's absolutely
Carter.
It's not even a question.
Based on draft capital alone, and just I don't like the landing spot.
Pre-draft, it definitely was Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, but not. That's why you wait.
What do you got for a grade there, Thumb?
D minus. It's the lowest grade so far. I think you reached like crazy for Kenny Gainwell. What are you doing there, picking him,
Not even the
especially
best
over
running back
Carter?
left. He's not even the best running back left.
No,
All right.
that's baffling to me.
Next one, Bruce Rondell Moore.
Needed a running back, bro.
I'll go.
That was
The big issue
Yeah.
here, though, is like, what can we expect? It's not even football season.
that's true. I don't even know why. Why are we
That's
talking
true.
about this?
Fantasy doesn't matter, dude. We just do it for fun, dude. That's
Rondell Moore, wide receiver. Arizona.
yeah.
Fun
Yeah.
and some buy-ins, but
What?
sorry, I was just jumping on what Tom said.
yeah, no, you're right, dude. But you know what? You
I
know
like
what?
this-
I'm not
I
gonna
like this-
comment.
I like this pick. I like this pick for Bruce. I really do. I think he's got a lot of potential here, especially in that offense. I think it's
Yeah.
good, but then again, can he stay on the field? You know, we don't know.
Right. Again, and he had his injury concerns in 19. He opted out last year, I believe. No, he did he get hurt? Now I'm getting my opt outs. He did opt
He
out.
opted
Okay.
out. He was hurt. He came back. He
Yeah, it
opted
was a
out
whole thing,
again. It was
but
back and forth.
I think I think if you base it on when he's on the field, yes, he was very good. But again, the other problem is he's short. Is he within 10 yards of line of scrimmage guy? That being said, he was the last receiver in tier 3 for me. So to get him here, because it drops off for this is again why I made the trade with Anthony to
I like
he
I like
included
this
this
pick.
pick.
If he stays on the field, I think it's going to be really good. And that ends Andy Isabella. So all right.
Yeah.
What do you got for a grade there for me, Tom?
I'm going B- on Rondell Moore. He actually is the top of tier 4 for me. I have another receiver that fills out tier 3, but you guys will find out in a little bit. But still, they're so
Okay.
close, interchangeable at this point in time.
All right, 207, Michael Carter, running back, Jets. That should have been Nick's pick.
Yeah.
I actually really like that pick because I don't know if he'll be the starter, but I mean, who knows
Maybe.
if Michael Piron's any good? Like,
Yeah, I
who
don't know.
knows?
I could honestly see that being almost a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
I like that pick a lot. Plus,
Yeah,
he's really
if,
good out of the backfield too.
Yeah. If Nick
Kevin Coleman.
until he gets
I
He
hurt.
just hurt his hamstring again.
Yeah. Right now. If Nick had taken Rondell Moore, this would have been my pick at 2.06. So, that was kind of, and then like after this, it falls off for me. But I like the pick a lot.
It's a good pick. You're drafting Gio Bernard. That's what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that actually.
And if just to remind
that ain't
everyone,
bad.
Gio Bernard's first 3 years, he was putting up, 1,200 total yards and 8 touchdowns. So it's a lot different than the
You're good.
current Gio
But
Bernard.
Right.
He did not have a mustache. That's the thing.
He did not then. So maybe the trade-off of worse stats but mustache is actually a net win.
What do you got for a grade there for me, Tom?
A-. I think,
Yeah,
especially after seeing Kenny Gainwell go before that. I mean,
go.
getting Carter at that spot, you can't do much better than that, Skyler. So that was really good.
Months of research and Kenny Gainwell is what you come up with. Months of research. Anyway, actually,
How long did that pick take? 52 seconds?
Whose?
Nick's Gainwell.
8 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
He must have been on the fence.
Let's go. Luch finally getting involved here with 2
There you
guys
go.
back. Kellen Mond, quarterback in Minnesota, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit. I like both of these picks.
Love it.
actually.
I love both.
Yeah.
I told him those were the 2 picks I would have made there. So
Yeah, I think too. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is like he could be the best wide receiver on the Lions. Like
immediately. Yeah. And he's
I
that
think
type
he's-
of receiver too. So
Yeah, he's a bigger guy. I don't love him as a player, but like I think he's good. Like I don't think he's great.
I think I thought about him at my pick prior, the landing spot for me, just based on what the target share is going to be there.
I mean,
I think it's
by
a
the
great
way,
pick.
Dennis, he's like I wouldn't say he's a bigger guy. He's still like 5'11",
Amon-Ra-
197.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of his brother. Isn't his brother like
Equinemius.
I
I
think
think he
that-
is taller.
Right?
I think
Yeah.
they said I think it was him in the draft report. One of them said he was 5 feet 12 inches.
Yeah, maybe that was
Yeah.
it.
They didn't want to say 6 feet.
But I was saying he's that type of receiver. He's like a possession guy. So
Amon-Ra St. Brown is 6'1", 195, which for this
Dude,
class is
these
bigger.
I have right here 5'11", 197. So it maybe
That's what
depends on
it
where we
says.
get our
That's
info.
what
That's
it
crazy.
says
I have
on the
6'4", 280.
I have it on
Bruce
I have it
has
on
5'12".
playerprofiler.com, which is a pretty reliable source.
I really don't care. He's not on my team. I don't
Yep.
care if he's 4'12".
Penny. That's a penny.
But great picks there. What do you got? What do you got there for him?
Kellen Mond, I have a B+. You need obviously. I think everyone in the league knew that Lucho was going to pick a quarterback. It was just a matter of which one he was going to pick.
I liked him on the
Couldn't-
best out of them.
I mean, to me, you couldn't go wrong with any of the 3. I thought he was going to pick the Mills from Houston because Mills has like a really good chance of playing this year.
I also think Mills
But
is
he
terrible.
But yeah, he might suck.
I
and then
agree.
Houston takes a quarterback next
I
year.
agree.
He
So
might play, but that doesn't mean he's going to do well.
I would have picked Mon for the same reason I was saying why I like Trey Lance over Zach Wilson, because the rushing factor.
makes sense. That's why I give it a B plus there, Lucho. I mean, you need the quarterback, you got him. And then St. Brown B minus. Again, it's a good wide receiver pick. It's just a matter of what you like better.
Is this year? I'm assuming this wasn't your guy in your tier 3. So we'll get to
No, the St. Brown's under Rondell Moore for me.
No, that guy would be Kadarius Toney, who was taken next.
Oh,
That would be.
That's right.
Who I will say this, I've come a little bit around as a player on, but for fantasy, I don't think he's going to be very relevant. But
not in the job, not with Jason Garrett calling plays for him.
That's a big issue. It doesn't matter.
Even,
How long will Jason Garrett really be there? So.
4-yard jet sweep,
dude. It's
Write
not
him
even.
up.
It's not even that. It's also the fact that just like there's so many mouths to feed now, and he's like the fourth receiving option.
I mean,
So,
better Kadarius Toney get the 4-yard jet sweep than Evan Ingram. So
yeah, I don't understand what that was about.
That's
but
true.
I like Kadarius Toney, the player. I do, but I don't think fantasy wise he's very relevant. I mean,
I think
at the 210, I'm completely okay with taking a first round wide receiver. Though.
Yeah, I was going to say at this point in the draft, I don't necessarily think you're reaching too much. Like, there's obviously guys off the board. You don't need to really draft, but at this point, yeah, I got like that.
For me, realistically speaking, it was either between Kadarius Toney or Kyle Trask. I picked Kadarius Toney. I thought maybe Trask would fall. He didn't. But yeah, I picked Toney. First round talent. Obviously, he was a first round pick. I personally think the Giants are going to start consolidating some of those wide receivers. I think Sterling Shepard might be on his way out.
I think so too.
last year, Shepard will be gone next year.
Yeah, Slayton. I don't think he's as great as people thought he was.
I disagree with that, but
I think Slayton might be awful too.
Clayton for a 5th round pick is legit.
Well, for a 5th round pick, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just talking about in general, comparing him to these other wide receivers.
So if I'm looking at it like that in the next year or two, and yeah, I could see Toney being the number 2 or 3 wide receiver there.
All right. So next up, 211 Pat Freiermuth. I actually think that's really, really, really good value for where that is. I mean, like we said, tight ends take a while, not super flashy picks, but like to get the
Steelers
second
are a good
best tight
spot.
end and like outside of a freak like Kyle Pitts, I like that a lot. I think that's just really solid.
Steelers are a good spot too. Like they know like he could just be a replacement for Eric
He'll
Ebron
be
at
the
some
next
point.
Heath Miller.
he's Hunter Henry 2.0 to me.
Which is
I
great
like the
if that's what it is.
What do you got in the grade there, Thumb?
I got Skyler with an A minus. That's back-to-back A minuses for Skyler, so he's actually doing pretty well in the latter parts of the draft.
The teams that had a lot of draft capital did really well with it, I will say. Alex,
I agree.
Alex, Skyler, and Anthony all had really good picks. I think Alex had the best draft out of everybody.
Hochberg.
We'll get to that with my overall draft ranking
Yeah.
soon.
We have power rankings too, just to tease that. I do want
What
to
was the
reveal
last
the
pick?
power rankings.
was the second?
212 is Amari Rogers from Dog.
Yeah, that to me is a hey, if Aaron Rodgers is here, cool, he'll get a boost. But besides that, I don't know if
I don't
he's
know
much
anything
of
about the
anything.
player, so I can't even really.
I really like Amari Rogers. I thought it was a really good pick, personally.
I think if Rodgers is there, I think it's a.
I don't even think it matters. I just like Amari Rogers enough.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we're into the 3rd round now. I'm going to try to speed this up as best.
Just start naming picks, and then I think if we find someone that stands out, we'll stop.
that wasn't
Actually,
Dog, sorry,
that was Anthony.
Anthony's pick.
Really quick too with Amari Rogers. If you don't know too much about him, he's kind of like a Deebo Samuel and could probably be what Randall Cobb was for the Packers for those couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you take the
That's
shot on
fair.
that pick just because he's on the Packers.
Yeah,
That's
I agree
right.
too. That's
Again,
I
if I
don't
kept,
think he's a good player.
right? And again, Anthony pretty much drafted the same guys I probably would have looked at had I stayed put.
Day 2 wide receiver too. So like at that
Yeah.
point in the draft, I mean it's not that bad. So
Yeah.
all right, 301 for Dog, Kyle Trask. Sit and wait, sit and see. Maybe that's something. Maybe it isn't.
The quarterback in round 3, can't argue with it.
Yep.
Yeah, no. What do you got for a grade there, Thumb?
A minus because it's the quarterback of round 3.
Gotcha. Diami it's Diami Brown.
Diami.
Yeah.
302. Skyler. I do not like him as a player. He's
I don't really either.
Very one dimensional. Yeah,
Just a field stretcher. Yep.
Especially at Washington, that's such a crowded room too. Now it feels like I'm not a fan of that pick. What do you got for a grade there?
C-.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that guy. 303, Phil Goodell, Davis Mills. This could be good, but more than likely it's probably not.
I
Again,
don't think he's good.
Don't like the quarterback, but quarterback in round 3. Can't argue with it.
What do you got there, Thumb? On a grade for yourself. And be honest.
I gave it a B+ because it's a quarterback in round 3.
That's exactly what I'd give it to.
That could start later this season.
I agree with that. -2s for days. Anyway, 304. I really liked this pick, Dwayne Eskridge. He could probably be the starter in the slot there, and I think he's just a good player in general. I think he's got wheels for days, and I think he's going to be the Tyler Lockett replacement in the future. But could be just me. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that.
For the Seahawks to take a wide receiver in round 2 is pretty telling.
It kind of makes you think that after all this time that they're like, yeah, we're going to go back to being a run-first team. That's not true.
They know their strengths. That's just for whatever. But what do you got grade-wise?
I give it a B. I guess I'm sleeping on him a little bit more. I liked him, but I don't know if I liked him as much as some other people are. I got to go back and watch.
All right, we got.
Yeah, Tom, I'm kind of with you there.
I like that pick a lot, actually. Tylan Wallace, 305.
I know.
Wide receiver. I don't like.
I know for a fact that Nick just took the top receiver that was on the draft list, or the top player that was on the draft list. I don't like that at all to Baltimore. It is what it is.
It's a C-. That's a C-.
I just don't care about these late round Baltimore wide receivers. We've seen it like 3 or 4 times now. None of them are good.
Everyone
Miles
still
Boykin
loves
is a recent one.
Devin Duvernay.
Devin
So
Duvernay.
here's another 2 from Lucho, and these are both like 2 great picks. Chuba Hubbard, which obviously that's if you're saying what's his face goes. Why can't I think
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, Jesus.
I just don't think Hubbard's good.
I think they've already showed you that they're going to do the same sort of game plan with Chuba Hubbard. Whether or not he's good or not, that's remains to be seen.
He's still probably one of the best handcuffs in the league.
Right. And then Nico Collins, I think, is
I was looking at him as
a real sleeper in this draft.
Yeah.
Especially at Houston, because he's probably, the most talented wide receiver there, depending on
Brandon Cooks.
how you feel about Cooks. Yeah.
I love Brandon Cooks.
Can't wait to see Davis Mills throw him some TDs.
Brandon Cooks also has concussion scares.
If he's on the field. So what do you got for Chuba Hubbard and Nico Collins there, Thumb?
I'm going back-to-back B-minuses here.
I would go a little higher with Nico Collins, but I agree with that. Okay, so we have Bruce Des Fitzpatrick.
It was literally a landing spot pick, and the fact that Tennessee just doesn't have a lot of receivers on the team, so that at 3.8,
should be wide receiver 3 immediately. So
yep. What do you got for that there, Thumb?
B+ just because he's going to see the field day 1. I feel like.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's big win for Juicy Swag legend Josh Reynolds for this to be the pick after the whole time you thought they were going to pick a wide receiver earlier, but Caleb Farley dropping might have changed their plans a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ground and pound, baby. 309 Jabroni Tony, great name. Cool word, bro. Brevin Jordan, I do not think Brevin Jordan is a good player at all. I think he's like a receiving tight end that can't catch.
It's like who's the Jets guy?
Chris Herndon.
Yeah, same school, bro. He can't catch the football.
I don't like Brevin Jordan at all, but that tight end.
It's 3.9. He just
and landing spot.
Yeah,
he might see the field pretty quickly.
Yep.
I agree with you, Dennis. I went C+.
I agree though. I was mildly interested pre-draft, but then the fact that he fell that far in the
Phil Goodell draft. 310. Javian Hawkins. I don't know much about the player.
He wasn't. Did he even get signed as
undrafted free agent? He's in Atlanta.
He went to the Falcons.
Oh, he did go there. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that your last pick?
That was my last pick. Look,
that makes sense.
He's a Falcons running back. I liked him in college. He played for Louisiana. For those of you that don't know who he is, I liked him a lot. I figured it's my last picks to take a stab at him. I gave myself a C- because whatever. I guess I reached for a running back, but whatever.
What are you gonna do? Start wheeling and dealing for a 4th?
I just don't like taking undrafted players because I feel like
He's
you can get
small.
them later.
He's like
small.
170 pounds or something. So if you guys remember Jaquiz Rogers on
No, he
Tampa-
bulked. Alex, he
My
bulked
boy.
up.
did he?
He bulked up. Yeah,
I
he's-
still, but even if you bulk up, you know how much from that starting point. I
You
just
I
might
think
not
he's
also
at
play-
190 right now.
yeah, that's still
I-
small.
I gotta
man,
say
but
this, and I know we don't
but
have
he's
much
undrafted,
time
so.
left. I don't like when people are like, "Oh, he bulked up. He weighed in at this." Like Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne's not going to play at 215. He's going to play closer to 200. Like that's just what they're doing. They're doing that for numbers. So like when you
Yeah.
say that, like I know it's late in the draft. Like I just like that. Just like
if I would just say, if you remember Jaquiz Rogers on Tampa, that's kind of how I see Javen.
Yeah,
Hawkins.
no,
So
I
carve
like
out a role like that.
Jaquiz
maybe.
Rogers in college
Yeah.
was a lot of fun to watch. Actually,
He was,
Chris Evans to Jabroni Tony at 311. I mean, they've pretty much said that Joe Mixon's not coming off the field though. I mean, it's a decent.
He's the Giovanni Bernard replacement.
Mhm.
312.
Maybe Puka Williams Jr. is there too, but he was undrafted.
Some
So.
poo-poos up, Duplex Mouse trades up to the 312. Trades
Big
in,
trade.
I should say, to get Ramondre Stevenson. I just don't. I don't like Patriots backs. You can't rely on it. I get it. He's probably the best player available there, but
Yeah, I got he's a C, and then Evans I had as a C as well.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of these running backs.
Yeah.
Dennis, you did make a joke that Phil trades for the pick, doesn't know who he wants.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But I could totally.
He was also
understand-
coming home from work, so
Yeah, I could also totally understand just like wanting to be a part of the draft. Be like, dude, I'd like just like give me a fucking pick. Like I want to like be a part of it. Like I
Didn't he have the next pick?
he did.
So 401, Thumpupu Duplex Mouse, Hunter Long, tight end. I actually like him better than Brevin Jordan, but like at this point, like with Mike Gesicki in the way.
Yeah, I gave that a D. I'm not a fan.
I was saying that it might be insurance if they don't sign Gasicki after this year.
Could be. I actually like
Yeah.
Hunter Long. I think he's good.
So do I.
He's the tight end 3.
I give it better than a D.
I'm sorry, dude. I just don't. Whoever picked Hunter Long in
D
this
for
draft,
don't
I was
like.
gonna shit on him.
D for don't like.
D
402,
plus. I'm gonna graduate.
A lot of people are doctors. Anyway, 402 for me, Josh Palmer, guy who did really well at the Senior Bowl, really good route runner, day 2 wide receiver.
And never clips more than like 400 something yards in a season. But
I saw on PFF because I looked at that he had one of the lowest of all times like catchable balls. for a
it's
quarterback.
Tennessee. What you can't expect much. But
so
this is the guy that I texted Mike before the draft, and I was like, dude, I don't even know who these guys are. Like, who the fuck is Josh Palmer? I was like, what?
I actually really like Josh Palmer, and I'm not just saying it because I took him because I clearly do. But you got a grade there, homeboy.
I gave it a C. I hate Tennessee. I remember watching him play in college and just
I'm
laughing.
glad that these are non-biased grades. I'm glad that we've gotten to that point.
No, but for real, I watched him. Look, Florida plays Tennessee every year.
I also saw him play.
I watched him. I remember specifically watching a game and seeing him on the field and watching him like drop a pass or run a route and just being like, I don't need to watch the left side of the field anymore because I know he's not going to catch it.
He's the only person that I think he's one of the few people that have touched on Surtain this year.
Do we want to roll? Like, is there any? Do we want to throw out some notable 4th round guys, if any, left?
Elijah Mitchell is
Low on time.
Seth Williams.
Elijah Mitchell.
A lot of people liked Seth Williams coming in. It's just he landed in Denver. So
I don't know who Seth Williams is.
From Auburn.
Oh yeah,
big dude.
Yeah, I don't like them. I gave him.
Again, he's another guy pre-draft. He could have went as high as maybe like a low second, but then he tanked based on landing spot and draft capital.
Yeah,
I have 2 guys that I like in the 4th round.
yeah. Why don't you just?
One of them, shock here. Nick picking Tamorion Terry. I like Tamorion Terry.
I think
like
that's-
him.
I'm
I like
not
him.
interested.
I like him. I mean, I don't think he's going to be like that effective in the NFL, but for a 405, I think it's not a bad pick. And then my last one, I think this is just because I was kind of caught in the middle of this semi-drama and I loved it, was Kyle flipped the shit when Jared Patterson got picked. So good on you, Lucho, for picking Jared Patterson. That was hilarious for me.
Word.
What about Ian Book?
Oh, Ian Book, I gave the only F in the draft.
I love it.
It's amazing. I love that.
Honestly, though, to be honest, Ian Book was a 4th round pick somehow.
4th round pick.
Yeah,
So,
Oh,
I
wait.
mean, 4th round pick quarterback in our 4th round. I know, no, I mean, he was a 4th round NFL.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, whatever. It's quarterback.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Or we're just
Um,
gonna end this.
We'll do one quick. We'll get the final
We have to
draft
reveal
grades
the
and we'll do
draft grade
power
and the power
rankings and we're
rankings.
done. We'll be a couple more minutes and then
All right.
we'll be
Yeah.
out. So one more break.
Commercial break.
This is the last commercial break. We'll be right back.
So energy last night.
All right.
Sorry.
We're back from our final commercial break. I'm going to kick it to Tom because I know we've been going pick by pick grades, but he's got final team draft grades.
Yep. I have the final team draft grades for everybody. Even
Big reveal.
Big reveal here. I don't think there's really many surprises, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and start in the order I have it written. That's Anthony. I'm giving Anthony A minus for his total draft. He had a lot of picks. He had 6 picks and no picks under a B minus for me. Etienne was his lowest. So for me, that's a great draft. Personally,
Agreed.
how do you guys feel about the A minus grade for Anthony?
I agree with that. Included the moves and
Yeah.
send himself
I
up for
th-
draft capital.
I think again, I know I keep going back to me and his trade, but I really think I think he has to feel a little bit that he missed out on Smith.
Yeah.
And I think maybe again, I know I gave him the extra first, but I wonder if maybe his team overall would have been better off with a Devonta Smith versus and I guess you could say Rondell Moore versus Rashad Bateman and Amari Rodgers.
You're right. The only saving grace is that he's not one piece away from winning.
Yeah, agreed.
I would have just taken another quarterback instead of the 2 running backs.
That's where I was going to go
Yeah.
with. I don't
I could
think
see
I'd
that
give.
too.
I'd give more like a B plus, but I can't argue really because he got enough value in that trade.
Yeah. All right.
Fair enough.
My next up is Dennis. Dennis really liked his first pick, but the other 2 I was iffy about. I gave Dennis a B minus.
The other two fourth rounders.
Yeah. See, it's tough. Yo, it's tough, man. It's
I get it. I get it.
it's tough when teams don't have a lot of picks because it's like, all right,
You mean like me with 1 pick?
yeah. Well, you had 1 pick and Kyle had 1 pick,
I
so
get it.
I'm giving you a B minus. But if we eliminate the 4th round, you get an A minus.
So let's eliminate the 4th round.
I'm going to give him an A minus then.
Then you
Yeah,
get
I
an
mean,
A
the four-
minus.
Yeah, the 4th rounds
know what?
are whatever to me.
I'm going to go tough on you too. I'd say a B plus.
I actually love just shitting on Dennis's team pre-season, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you a D.
Oh, D for Dennis.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
I
enough
mean-
Florida guys on my team or Ohio State guys because I totally did do my draft. My draft.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
All right, let me move on, bro. Next, Skylar. Okay, 9 picks in this. That's a lot. I almost had to do a whole new column for Skylar. Look, I'm giving Skylar a B minus. I have Chase, good pick. Sermon, not so much of a good pick. Jones, I didn't think was a good
What?
pick. Needed it. Sorry. Carter, good pick. Firemouth, good pick. Dimey Brown, not a good pick. Williams, I have as a D plus. Ian Book, I have as an F, and Brightwell, I have as a C at the end. That kind of hurt the score a little bit, but
I'd give him better than a B minus.
I would just give him a solid B.
I
Yeah,
think you
me
can
too.
truly average in the Ian Book pick. I know that's a joke F, even though
I don't even think it's a bad pick. It's a quarterback in
Yeah.
round 4.
I
On
think that's a
team that
bad
is-
pick.
In a team that uses quarterbacks really dumb, but
Yeah.
okay for fantasy.
Next up, I have Hochberg. I have Hochberg at an A minus as well. Pitts, good pick. Smith, good pick. Moore, good pick. Eskridge, good pick. I'm not a fan of Mitchell, but I know y'all are.
Going to
Again,
San
so-
Francisco, it's going to San Francisco. That's good for a
draft
4th round
capital
guy.
for a running back there is not bad.
well, I think, and really anything over in the B or A range, to me, is a really good draft.
I'd give Alex an A.
Damn, I got a D.
Yeah. Dennis, you know what? You got to prove me wrong like last year, though, dude. I'm helping you.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. It's all
Next.
bulletin board material over here, baby.
Next, I got Nick. I'm giving Nick a solid C. He lucked into Justin Fields, and then the rest of his draft was shit.
Who he just doesn't even know the last 3 picks. So
Yeah. So well, I mean, yeah. C. Alex, I have to give Alex an A plus because he picked 1 player and it was Trey Lance.
bro, yo, fuck you with your draft logic.
He picked Trey Lance at number 8.
I get it, but you factored in Cornell Powell and freaking.
Well, you know what, dude? We lifted the 4th round. You got an A minus, all right?
All right, cool. All right.
I'm sorry, dude. I forgot. So you drafted fucking what's his name? Colin Powell? Fucking
Gotta leave
No,
the
no,
guys
he
if you
drafted
know it.
he drafted Cornell University.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
But yeah,
just
so
invite it.
I have to give Alex an A+, man, as much as I didn't want to. Next is Mike. I'm going to give Mike a B. Zach Wilson was an A, Rondell Moore's a B-, and Fitzpatrick was a B+ for me. So
The A
Sorry,
doesn't
sorry. I missed this one.
help
Who was
the average.
that? Who's that?
Mike.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have Mike as a B+. I've written as a B+.
No,
I'm
what did
sorry.
you say right before, Mike?
What?
No, never mind. I just wasn't paying attention. I missed some stuff here.
Oh, well, he had 3 picks. It's a B+. Could be an A-, but I'm going. I don't care, bro. You get a B+. Me, Waddle, Tony Mills, and Javion Hawkins. I'm going to give myself a B- in the draft. That's just what I graded
You should have
myself.
just given yourself an A+, dude.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I gave myself
Sorry, dude.
a K because nobody else got a K in this draft.
I drafted Kyle's next. He got a B- for his 1 pick. Lucho had a bunch of picks too. He had 6 picks. And I give Lucho a B- as well. Just a bunch of late picks. I like Kellen Mond. St. Brown was there. Not a fan of Hubbard. Liked Nico Collins. And then Tremble and Patterson are just kind of,
I think you got to bump Lucho's grade up just for taking Patterson, because we got to hear from Kyle.
yeah. What should I bump it up from a B- to what? An A++?
Probably.
All right, so Lucho has the best draft. Joey I have as a B-. But you know what the thing with Joey, man? I just wanted to bring this up. I'm going to put Joey as a B-, and fucking Chris Evans or whatever is probably going to go off and have 1,000 yards this year.
I like
Have a
Chris
bunch of
Evans.
receptions. Like Joey always does that with the late round players, so I'm scared to
Antonio
give Joey
Gibson,
a
he
B-.
nailed that.
Exactly. So
We should have seen that coming, though. Antonio Gibson had good draft capital, too.
yeah. So and then to
But
round it out,
he literally didn't run the ball though as a running back in college, so I could kind of understand why you were skeptical of it. Like, of the
Makes
pick.
sense.
By the way, did you factor in Joey's trade downs?
I really didn't factor in. I just took the picks for what they were worth here. I didn't really factor in trades too much. Yeah, sorry, dude. And then to round it out, the worst draft of all of us, I have Phil. Just Stevenson and Long.
I feel like you can give him an incomplete,
Yeah, but
like not
I'm
even
not.
a low
But I'm
grade.
not. I'm going C-.
Just give him a meh.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? You had a 312 and a 401. It's not like you really could do too much, but
Yeah.
so yeah. According to my board, well, Alex had the best draft.
What about Lucho?
Anthony had a great draft. Hawkberg had a great draft. That was kind of the top 3. Yeah.
One
I
thing-
should've just traded away my 4th rounders. I had an amazing draft.
Well, you still would have had an A-. You would have been contending for the top 3.
That's funny.
The one thing I do want to do, I want to give a shout out to Joey for winning the average wait time to make a pick contest this year. So he had an average of 2 minutes per pick.
Who was the most? Anthony, because he had to go to work.
The most was no, because Anthony traded that away, so it ended up not counting towards his
Wow.
thing. So because he didn't make the pick, so you just don't count it, and then he traded to Mike, so you only count from when Mike got the pick to when he made the pick. So Anthony is on here with an average of 4 minutes.
I would have died if it gave me the 16 hours.
No, it didn't give you
that
that.
Anthony.
You had a Oh wait, it did give you the 6. I didn't realize that it says 6 hours. I thought it said 6 minutes. You have an average of 6
Dang,
hours
dude.
per pick, Bruce. Come on, dude.
Mike held us up, dude. But yeah, so just to cap off this draft grades for like per team, it was very difficult to do because like certain teams needed a lot more than others. Certain teams had a lot more picks than others. It was just kind of like
Maybe
I looked at the players.
maybe we'll grade this draft 3 years from now.
Yes,
Which is what we should do.
I want to start doing that.
You
Like
can go back to the
with all of
startup.
them.
You know, we should
Yeah.
go back to the startup at some point this offseason.
so, yeah. So Alex, I believe it's your turn now to give us your.
Give us some power ranks.
I do have some Fantasy Pros power rankings. Do you want to start with the 2021 power rankings or the Dynasty power rankings?
What do you guys think?
2021.
2021, yeah.
All right.
I hope Dennis is
So-
at least 10th.
We'll start from the bottom. We'll start from the bottom. Last for 2021, for obvious reasons, is Anthony.
Oops.
Second to last, we have Skylar. Actually, tied for second for last, Skylar and Kyle. Then there's a big gap in the numeric value they give for these rankings. We have Nick in 9th.
Finally.
Phil in 8th. Alex Hochberg in 7th. Lucho in 6th. Tom in 5th. Joey in 4th. Me in 3rd. Dennis in 2nd. Bruce in 1st.
All right.
Yo, fuck that graph.
Although Fantasy Pros is really starting to not like Bruce's running backs. So
Wow,
Makes sense.
dude. You should blow it up, dude.
Yeah.
That's true.
Rebuild on the horizon.
moving into the dynasty rankings, remember this also doesn't take into account any future picks. So if you have a bunch of picks, it probably is a little better too. But you'll see when you actually make those picks. Last, we have Kyle.
Makes sense.
11th is Skylar.
Hmm.
10th is Anthony. 9th is Nick. 8th is Alex Hochberg. 7th is Phil. And then we have the exact same order for the top 6 of Lucho in 6th, Tom in 5th, Joey 4th, me 3rd, Dennis 2nd, Bruce 1st.
I'm surprised Anthony's not higher with all like the players he has now.
Anthony's Fantasy Pros, he has the worst wide receiver group in the league for dynasty purposes, according to Fantasy Pros. He has the 10th 10th best running backs and 8th best quarterbacks. So
It's Watson, right?
because Watson's not even considered as QB1 anymore. It's Lawrence. And Lawrence isn't ranked very high as a QB1 compared to the rest of the league.
Makes sense.
But it does say he has the 5th best tight end and the 4th best flex position because Watson. It's like he's a good super flex spot, and it takes into account the other flex positions too.
All right.
Hey, good to know.
Sitting at the 5 spot. I'm not, I'm going to blow it up.
No, I mean, I think I thought that I thought that Anthony would be higher. I genuinely would, and same with Skylar, just with all that.
I think you look at these rankings in a year, if his first round picks perform how you might expect, he'll shoot up the rankings. But again, if it's based on Fantasy Pros rankings, he has great rookies, but they're not
based on their dynasty rankings. But
even still, Fantasy Pros, like those guys aren't ranked like Trevor Lawrence isn't ranked crazy high for dynasty, even though he should be. But if you look at like an official ranking, if he's like the 12th quarterback or whatever he might be on like he's
the 9th quarterback, and I don't think you really could put him much higher. You're going to put him ahead of Justin Herbert.
Not yet.
Exactly. You're going to put him ahead of Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow's the only one I could argue for. So like
just in front of Ian Book. That's pretty much.
So I think that's correctly ranked. For
like
now.
I said,
we haven't seen him play.
Right, like we said, come back in 2-3 years. Yes, these rankings might flip. Like you never know.
Say that about any player. Skylar's team, to go back to that really quick, they really don't like Skylar's team. The only saving grace is Barkley. Otherwise, he definitely would be below Kyle. But another thing, just noting, is kind of on what we were saying before. Like, for example, Jamar Chase is his wide receiver 1, which gives him the 11th best wide receiver 1 of our league. So
that makes sense.
Only behind ahead of Anthony.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Kind of cool.
I agree with it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, like I said, we'll see where it takes us. The draft is done. Now it's still not football season. So what are we doing here?
Never was.
I mean, I guess we're just chilling, bro.
I mean, this was all just for fun to kill time, right? When's the real draft?
At this point, we're just embarrassing ourselves. Just why?
Like what? Like what are we even doing? Like why don't we're fucking losers.
Dude, how dare we like something? Like how dare we?
You guys want to talk about the CFL draft?
All right, and
Chuba Hubbard got taken.
I'm ahead of
Yeah.
that random lineman. That.
By the way, I do want to note really quick. I don't think we needed to rebrand our podcast. This is right on brand of
I
the old
know.
one. So
I think going forward for what we
if
want
we do
to
the
do.
dynasty centric one, I think it's.
So I
Yeah.
just want to note this is episode 31, I think.
I think so too.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm down for the Dynasty Centric podcast too, guys. Be on the lookout. Be
All
on the
right,
lookout for that.
let's stop recording.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for all of our stuff. Thanks everyone. Have a good night. See you later.